Hey yo, welcome back. It's late at night. It's a little dark out. Well, actually, it's like fucking pitch black out aside from the streetlights. It's time for some spooky, scary stream. We did this fairly recently. In fact, my upload schedule. This is like one of the first things I recorded before we even published the most recent VOD. So I'm gonna be doing this twice in 1 week without you guys even seeing the YouTube variant. Anyway, yeah, it's time for more SCP Foundation Wiki. We're going to be reading numbers 71 to 80, unless I've gotten that number wrong. I should probably check that really quick. You know what, I set up all of this, going live, notification, etc. I'm a part of another growing community, by the way. Thank you guys for the invite. What's her name? Funky Fam. Thanks for the invite, Funky Fam. And posted going live notifications basically everywhere. And I'm still like, wait a second, which number are we on? So, yeah, let me go verify that really quick. And yeah, just recently we or at least I discovered that the main entries page actually has an official name for every single entry. So I had no idea. I was like, where are people getting these official names for? Like, for example, last time we read 3001, SCP number 3001, entry Red Reality. And I had to look up, quote, Red Reality on Discord for the first time I saw it. Like the video I was talking about that my friend posted. And I was like, where do they get these names from? Is it just like a consensus? No. The SCP Wiki actually has an official name for everything. So like any other name is an unofficial. So yeah, we're going to be doing 71 through 80. Literally just checked there. And yeah. So if you're new here, thanks for dropping by. If you're not new here, thanks for dropping by. I had something weird happen just now too, by the way. I toggled dark mode by accident, but I always have dark mode enabled. So now I'm in light mode for chat. What? Normally I wouldn't care, but anything that lets me have dark mode by default, I'm always happy with it. So both YouTube and Twitch, rubs index fingers together menacingly. You guys have it, but it always turns off for me, so I guess you have to stay signed in and just have to retoggle it every time, which is just brain dead to me. But yeah, before we get into this, little disclaimer: if you get scared easily, have heart problems, you might want to avoid this stream. It's just it's not for the faint of heart, I guess, because it can be a little scary, a little edgy, etc. And not me in particular, but this content. And not my content either, specifically, but I mean the SCP Foundation Wiki, it can be a little spooky scary. By the way, I say this every time, I play a little bit of music in the background, just keep the air fresh. So yeah, I'm going to have music from my personally curated playlist of video game music. And yeah, let's get this started. Number 71 to 80. We also do a random article every time now, so we've been doing them at the beginning. Last time we had an opportunity to do one at the beginning, one at the end, and I chose to do 3001 Red Reality, so let's see what we get into tonight. How is it that this is like an SCP of itself? I always start Zelda music, even though I have this on shuffle. It always goes to Zelda. Yeah, so just to catch up really quick, here's the entries that we've read so far. I don't know how I mentioned this last time, but I didn't slowly scroll through it. I guess I could be wrong, but yeah, there you go. And as usual, let's start with a random SCP article. So what do we have? This is 1507. Okay, we're getting kind of a lower number. Nice. Facebook message SCP. Interesting. Well, there's the entire page for you again if you're faint of heart or something and you want to see there's no jump scares or anything or want a preview. Anyway, Item number 1507, Object Class Euclid, Special Containment Procedures. Instances of 1507 are to be housed within Site-77's Wilderness Observation Deck. In the event that Foundation staff need to interact with 1507, POI 1507, Person of Interest, is to accompany them to the chamber. Staff must be a minimum of 5 meters away from Person of Interest 1507 when in the presence of 1507. Any requests Person of Interest 1507 has in relation to 1507 are to be reviewed by the current research head. POI 1507 is allowed to and encouraged to have daily interactions with 1507. Description 1507 is a collective designation given to 30 plastic lawn flamingos of unknown make or manufacturer. Instances of 1507 bear no notable behavioral differences from the average American flamingo, save for an increase in territorial behavior and lack of vocalization. Said behavior often results in attacks targeted towards Foundation staff. The only individual known to circumvent their behaviors is POI 1507, otherwise known as Leroy Day. On my way to search up literally every Leroy Day on Facebook. Whoa, wait a second. Speaking of Red Reality, 3001, that's kind of where we found an instance of a reference to Hume level. Wow, okay. We got another article referencing Hume level. Cool. Hume level testing performed on POI 1507 suggests reality bending abilities, though all conversations with him have come back as unclear of his awareness of his abilities. Addendum 1507A. Following are phone logs recovered from POI 1507's phone following the acquisition of 1507. I guess addendum.1507.a. I thought that was just stylistic, but yeah, it fits the nature of this. Due to a lack of compliance and resources, an interview was unable to be taken from POI 1507. So maybe their reality manipulation knows anybody. It's denial. You know, they don't want an interview, so it's not going to happen in a formal context. 0103-2012, 12:42 p.m. There we go again with Zelda music. At least it was we didn't start with it immediately. Just feel like it's so unfitting, especially those Link's Awakening tracks that are so giddy, jolly, beepy. Anyway, Mark, you called? Oh, I'm sorry, I'm still not used to this yet. You're fine. I'm still getting used to it myself, it's just weird is all. Yeah, I don't doubt. I don't know how I'd react if I just stopped hearing one day. Well, just in case it happens, let me tell you something. Keep around a pencil and paper or something to type. It's the only way folks will talk to you. Tongue face. That sucks. Colon P, I guess. You get used to it. I mean, I guess. Still a bit lonely, isn't it? As I said before, you get used to it. Now, what were you calling about? Oh, right, I'm coming over today. I'm bringing a sort of get-well-soon gift. Ooh, I'll be sure to keep an eye out for you. 0203-2012, 3:12 p.m. There's an image. The image appears to be one of these aforementioned plastic flamingos. Actually, a few of them. If we look a little closer, it appears maybe this first initial flamingo is either photoshopped in or just has some abnormal quality to the edges. Being a person who photoshops regularly, I just have to bring this up. It does look like it's cut out a little bit weirdly, but also this could just be somewhat of an older smartphone and it's just artifacting on the edges of the object. Most likely the latter. Yeah, it just has some weird artifacting, but otherwise everything does look pretty consensus for a smartphone quality camera photo from around 2012, I suppose. Just a little blurry, low resolution, but good enough quality. So yeah, we're depicting, here's depicted at least 4 of the flamingo plastic SCP objects. They appear to have wire, quote-unquote, legs, and yeah, it just appears to be a typical plastic flamingo, maybe of higher quality. just looking closely at the one in the foreground here, it appears to have somewhat of quite detailed eyes. But, you know, that could just be adequate painting on the creator's part of these. Let me just fully zoom out here. Okay. Yeah, in the background we can see more of the same. It appears to be the same model as well, but I'm not too sure, because this one in the distance, its beak appears to be quite a bit more present. But again, this one's at a sort of, I wouldn't say 90-degree angle, more of like a 45, 40, 50-degree angle. So maybe you can just see more of the beak, because this one is facing towards the camera a little better. But yeah, for this image, it appears to just be the side of the house. A little bit of shrubbery or greenery, different variants of it. It appears leading up the side of the house is either wire or a type of, I guess, wine rack wood. I don't know what that would be called, but the beginnings of a lattice that you would use for like a tomato or wine vine, any sort of viney foliage. It appears there is some type of foliage accompanying it as well, but it also could just be like a type of wire or something. And yeah, it appears to be the side of a building or a home. Very large concrete area for the foundation of the quote-unquote house. It appears to be at least from floor level, maybe like a foot up. And yeah, some more foliage, what appears to be dead leaves. The home or building appears to be made of brick, and really all that you can see is just a plant pot and what appears to be energy storage units, whatever these things are called. I'm not an electrician. In the very top right, however, we can discern. Oh yeah, I guess part of the electrical equipment is a little rusty. You can discern what appears to be maybe like a window. But yeah, aside from that, there's nothing too necessarily, what's the word I'm looking for? Nothing quite anomalous about that. It just looks like a normal photo. I think he likes this spot in my garden, haha. It overlooks the koi pond, so he probably likes to watch the little guys. Colon, right parenthesis, smiley face. Glad to hear that, man. I just knew you said that you'd miss those old watching trips the most, so I tried to, well, bring it to you in any way I could. Oh goddamn, you got me crying. I really do appreciate this, man. You're the first to come visit me after the getting out of the hospital, so it really does mean a lot, even without the gift. Wait, what about Henrik, your old boss? Oh, well, I'm being honest with it. If I'm being honest with it, it was a roundabout... I cannot read this in text message format, it's super weird and jarring for me. Oh well, if I'm being honest with it, was a roundabout way of letting me go. Dude, that's not okay, isn't that illegal? Shrug emoticon emoji? I mean, I feel like that's so rare to see on this particular wiki, I might as well just save that in chat. I don't know how to describe this, I guess kanji emoticon shrugging. Hiragana katakana emoticon. You could probably fight the case if I'm honest, and I'd rather not lose money on it. Well, still fucking sucks. God, I'm sorry people are being shitty to you, dude. This just reads like a conversation between me and a friend. Tell you what, after I'm work tonight, I'll make you whatever you want, okay? Sounds good, and I guess if that's the case, salmon isn't off the menu, is it? Not one bit. Colon peed. Tongue face, tongue sticking out. I'll be over at 9. Thumbs up. 03/03/2012, 9:01 a.m. Hey, I saw you have some more flamingos there. I'm assuming that little guy was a pretty good gift. Colon large P. What the... You're just gonna do whatever the emoticon means. Otherwise, I'm just gonna get confused. He's great, honestly. Best pet I've ever had. He doesn't need food, water, or anything like that. Hell, he doesn't even bite. But I figured he was getting a bit lonely with just me. Well, looks like he has plenty of friends now. He does, and he's so happy running around with them. Cat face. Nose smiley face. I love this. Anytime I post this, I always think it's funnier looking than a just regular smiley face. 04/03/2012, 12:21 p.m. Hey dude, been a while since I've heard from you. Everything okay? Yeah, just work's been piling up recently and I've been racing to beat the clock. Oh, I don't envy that at all. 06/03/2012, 03:12 p.m. Hey, I saw your sister on the news today. She seems really proud of her work. 08/03/2012, 6:38 p.m. Yeah, we really do be getting a lot of Zelda tonight, huh? Alright, so the other attached image here appears to just be another assortment of these plastic flamingos. Yeah, you can still discern sort of the same form, just plumage. Nice purplish, pinkish form. Not even purple, like the closest purple would be the shadow. But, yeah. And you can't really necessarily discern a stake or a metal leg on this thing, but it does appear to be the same model. It just looks like flamingos grazing in someone's lawn, honestly. But yeah, just some really neatly trimmed grass. Maybe a evergreen tree on the right-hand side here. I'm not too good with my trees, but in the far distance in the background we can discern another type of tree, maybe another evergreen or something. Yeah, just a lot of foliage reminiscent of someone's front yard. What appears to be maybe some dirt on the background, right-hand side, left-hand side of probably more trees. Maybe some wood chips over there or something. Yeah, just what appears to be a house in the background. Nice, large, wide windows. White trim on the windows. What appears to be the side of the house, or maybe just more siding of windows or something. Again, with white, and what appears to be the patio or deck in the distance. The house is just a tan, typical plastic trim, I guess. And yeah, just a bunch of these flamingos. It appears to be in the middle of the day, just like the previous picture. Haha, we got a whole pool party back here now. They play too well together. Oh wow, that's a lot. Are you doing okay, dude? Oh, I'm fine, just, I don't know, getting harder to, well, talk to people, you know, huh? Leroy, I'm sorry I missed your past few texts, and you know that. I'll take you out again tonight to that one barbecue place you like. Calroy's, is it? It is, but seriously, dude, I'm fine. Calroy's, Leroy, I'm gonna find this dude. And consider this an apology, meal. Anyways, can't complain when I'm paying. I guess that's true. 03/08/2012, 8:23 p.m. I know you're driving, but for when you stop, just text me. Right, sorry again, I keep forgetting. It's fine, what's up, dude? Well, you keep your flamingos inside. Yeah, they don't really like the rain. Question mark? What do you mean? They just don't like it. It gets inside them and bothers them and all that stuff. Dude, I know you've been obsessed. Nice spelling error. Dude, I know you've been obsessed with them recently, but you realize they're not real, right? No, they move and play with me. They're plastic. Yeah, but they move around and they play. You know, if you turn the car around, I can show you. This particular song is from the Magic the Gathering soundtrack. I might play more of these, because they're both spooky and fucking crazy cool. Magic the Gathering for the Game Boy Advance, by the way. Speaking of that, we're gonna play Chandelier at one of these points. The 1997 PC version. I downloaded it, and it's just a matter of installing it and playing it. Yeah, but they move around and they play, you know, if you turn the... Okay, I already read that. Not gonna lie, this is a weird way of saying you want to go home. I don't. I just want you to see the flamingos. Fine, dude, let's eat and you can take me back. 08/03/2012, 9:32 p.m. See, I told you they play. I don't know why they don't like you, after all. You're their uncle, haha. Nice usage of there, by the way. Nice there, by the way. Eh? Sticks tongue out. I guess they're overprotective of you. I'm sorry, this wasn't meant to happen. You're Discovery on 8/03/2012, a series of 911 calls were received in the Clay County area. The calls were noted to have a male crying and uttering various unidentifiable phrases. Due to the nature of the call, it was flagged for scanning, and a Foundation agent was sent out to the call. When arriving on scene, the agent reported POI 1507 attempting to unsuccessfully resuscitate another man, who was later identified as Mark Farman. that had multiple stab wounds, presumably caused by 1507. That's fucking scary sad. POI 1507, after being taken into Foundation custody, was amnesticized following an ethics committee order. Yeah, it's probably better he just takes care of them and he's left alone. Let his friend go to the hospital, I guess. Autonomous Artifact Avian Euclid Hostile. Interesting. Kind of a wacky one, but I like it. I like how it was presented, too. It was very, very weird. Alright, so let's catch up to where we were. Starting at 71. Degenerative Metamorphic Entity. Okay. Keep forgetting which zoom mode I'm in, so you might not always see me click links, I guess. Alright, 071. There's the page, quite short. If we have a lot of short ones tonight, we might check something else out. Item number 071, Object Class Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. 071 is contained in a modified standard humanoid containment cell with no direct observation capabilities. Surveillance of 71 may only be performed by a closed-circuit video with a minimum of 60 seconds of delay. Experimentation with 071 may only be performed with permission from at least two Level 4 site directors, and personnel entering 71's containment area may only do so in groups of at least 4 Any personnel exhibiting unusual or compulsive behavior must be removed from the area immediately, given a full psychiatric screening, and either administered a Class C amnestic or reassigned as deemed appropriate. Under no circumstances should personnel be permitted to observe 71 directly or through non-delayed surveillance footage. All visual recordings and photographs of 71 must be destroyed immediately once they are no longer needed. Description: 71 is a metamorphic entity that possesses the ability to assume forms consistent with that of its observer's strongest sexual desire. I remember this one. This one's kind of creepy. So, if you're just like triggered or have adverse reaction to it or have a weak heart, you might want to sort of avoid this one. I'm still gonna read it unless it gets really dark. I don't remember this one too well, but I think for how like weird it gets, it's still pretty tame. Description. Oh, we already read description. Oh, thanks for the raid, Cheesy Knight. Thank you, and glad to see another name joining the stream. Thanks for joining, and again, thank you for the raid. Thank you guys for dropping by. What's up, Funky Fam? Hey, shout out to the Funky Fam, just joined today, and yeah, thanks for recommending me. I'm not sure who recommended me to the Funky Fam. Now that I think about it, let me go check Twitter really quick, cause yeah, I want to give you guys a proper shout out. Thank you for the invite, and thank you guys for being so wholesome. I really appreciate it. Let me find this really quick. I think I found it by looking through my profile tonight. And I was like, wait a second, somebody commented on one of my tweets. That's kind of rare, being like 25, 26 followers. Which tweet was it? What is that Pika emote? Poke Pikachu. Oh, that's a great emote. That's a global one, too. Wow, I'm surprised that wasn't even my Soul Calibur blindfolded stream. Hold on, I'm looking for the proper comment that I had that recommended me. There it is. This was Oracle of Ages, I guess. Am I wrong about this? Hold on. No, it's November 10th, I seem to remember. Again, I just want to give the proper shout out before we continue reading. And I know for a fact this is like a creepy article we're about to get into as well. Figures that we start with 71 when we have a bunch of new people join. I literally can't find this, so I don't know. Shout out to Funky Fan. I don't want to spend too long sitting here trying to figure out what the tweet was, but yeah, thank you guys for inviting me, and glad to be part of your community. Okay, so yeah, let's continue this. Metamorphic entity. So, ability to assume forms consistent with that of its observer's strongest sexual desires. So this one's gonna be fucking weird. This ability is effective even through barriers designed to prevent 71's recognition of any observers, such as through closed-circuit surveillance or one-way mirrors, but can be prevented by introducing a delay in surveillance footage, so that such observation does not occur in real time. 71 appears to be unable or unwilling to change form without external stimuli, instead remaining in its last form when left unobserved. There appears to be little or no limit to the form 71 is capable of assuming. See Addendum 7101 for additional information. So yeah, welcome everybody new to this stream. This is us reading the SCP Foundation Wiki. So again, I showed this at the beginning of the stream. We'll go ahead and catch up to where we are in the article really quick, but just for the noobs to the channel, we do this occasionally as like a creepy, scary, and also just interesting thing to read along. And yeah, we have music playing in the background. I just think it's interesting, and also it's a good sequential series to check out. So yeah, let's catch up to where we were. 071 also appears to be intelligent. However, as it has not shown any ability to verbally communicate, and its behavior is limited to actions which entice its observers to sexual activity, it is unknown whether 71 actually possesses sentience or merely mimics behavior expected by its observers. By the way, if this is a bannable offense, Twitch, reading this, just let me know in advance, I guess, but I'm pretty sure this one's, like, rated R at worst. Human subjects allowed to engage in sexual activity with 71 suffered rapid atrophy of muscle, skeletal structure, and brain function, with onset occurring 1 to 2 days after contact. The atrophy persists for up to 7 days, dependent on physical therapy administered after onset, though the subject may also suffer permanent decrease in stature, decreased organ function, decreased brain mass, and sterility. Subjects who achieve auto-gratification through masturbation via the use of media containing 71, whether delayed or not, suffer the same effects. So it's, to quote JoJo, it's a remote stand. 71 came to the Foundation's attention on ... following data expunged. Due to ongoing medical cases consistent with exposure to 71, efforts to remove all visual recordings of 71 from the internet are ongoing. Addendum 7101, Researcher Note. 71's ability to change forms does not appear to be limited to normal human subjects. On ... when presented with subject D7883, 71 assumed the shape of a female golden retriever. D7883 reacted with shock and refused to proceed with the experiment, though the subject's physiological signs were consistent with a state of sexual arousal. Well, there's the weird one. I guess the next one's pretty weird too. On ... 71 assumed the form of a female human corpse when exposed to D8762. Medical staff confirmed a complete lack of life signs, and 71 suffered no harm from the transition, later assuming the form of a year-old male subject when exposed to 8765. Dr. Blank. Well, that one's incredibly cursed. Glad we're done with that, and yeah, it's freaky and weird, and I don't want any more of it, to be completely frank. But goddamn, this is a golden retriever one. Just make me fucking lose it. Holy shit, that's hilarious. Hilarious and cursed. Okay, now that we're past that, 072, item number 072, object class safe. Special containment procedures. All known instances of 072 are to be contained in a 3.5 by 4 meter holding cell. Access is allowed only during authorized testing procedures. Without prior approval from Senior Researcher Grant, no materials created for the purpose of being slept on are to be introduced into a 15-meter vicinity of the holding cell. Description: instances of 72 were first discovered in an apartment building in Blank, Michigan, after 2 local media reports on 72's effects caused a local panic, which drew the attention of embedded Foundation agent blank. Yeah, so for context, if somebody here hasn't read Foundation stuff or hasn't watched videos or whatever, Foundation agents can be dispatched even in the presence of like a police officer or even a news reporter. So they're allowed to sort of intervene whenever they take notice. 72 is a shadowy and translucent projection which resembles a 0.9 meter long hand, the fingers of which taper to a sharp point. Detailed recording of 72 is difficult as it does not manifest at light levels above 5 lux. I feel like this is a Doctor Who expanded universe reference. Later on in the series, there's what's kind of similar to this. It's a shadow weapon, and only like cousin Time Lords, or what are they also called? The family. Only Time Lords who have killed themselves and created a grandfather paradox with themselves have this sort of bound blade, or it doesn't really matter what the weapon is, and their shadow will always be carrying this weapon. It's fucking weird. Instances of 72 have only been observed to manifest when a human, hereafter referred to as the subject, enters REM sleep while located in a bed infected by 72 and leaves a foot or feet exposed to open air. Okay, this is cursed? Not as cursed as the last one. Definitely not. But this is like when I'm 10 years old and I feel like my feet are gonna get eaten by demons. If these conditions are satisfied, 72 will emerge from the foot of the bed and appear to use its pointer finger to tap on the subject's foot until they awaken. Subjects have reported that at this point they were unable to move, showing symptoms similar to sleep paralysis. This continues as long as 72 is visible. 72 will then use its pointed fingers to cut portions of flesh from the exposed parts of the subject's foot or feet. It'll return to within the bed in between each removal, emerging without the collected material. That's fucking weird. What is it, like nibbling parts of the flesh it cuts off? This will continue until 72 has taken all of the exposed foot or feet, stopping at the ankle. Those subjects exposed to 72 report this process as immensely painful. Its paralytic effects render them unable to scream or call for help. Fuck that. It is unknown if manifestations of 72 feed on the collected material or use them for some other purpose. As long as the wounds are properly treated, 72's effects are not fatal but have been observed to cause psychological damage relating to sleep in the future. I mean, just let the D class who this affects read the article, and then they'll know that it's only gonna happen whenever they're around this thing, not at their normal bed, probably. Probably. Addendum: list of known 72 objects. 72 1, 2, and 3 recovered from original apartment complex. 3 twin-sized beds which were located within 10 meters of one another. 72 4, a king-sized 4-poster bed contaminated during 72's time in site double-blank temporary anomalous objects holding. 72 5, a sleeping bag with bottom removed introduced to 72 1 for testing. When D2191 entered REM sleep an object, data expunged. 72 5 not recommended for testing in future. It probably fucking tore him apart from inside the sleeping bag. 72 6 and 7, beds introduced to 72 2 and later destroyed for examination. Remains of 72 6 and 7 appear unaffected, but are to be contained until further studies may be completed. So probably like teleports between local beds. Who knows how it works? Maybe if you destroy a bed that's been at, it'll go back to the last one. Like a fucking save point. It's a bonfire. Autonomous extremity intangible mind affecting. Safe? That's kind of debatable. Self-replicating, yeah. Sleep transfiguration. Alright, let's move on to the next one, 73. Has a couple of cross links. Item number 73, Object Class Euclid, Special Containment Procedures. 73 is to be kept in a 2-room cell furnished with all non-organic furniture and items and a bathroom. Subject is allowed to freely wander the facility and eat in the main canteen. A tracking device has been attached to 73's person and is not to be removed. Subject is disallowed any contact with the surface and is not allowed outside the facility. Subject is allowed no contact with plant-based SCPs under any circumstances. Violence is not to be used against 73 under any circumstances. 73 is currently kept in Site 17. Description: 73 appears to be a heavily tanned male of Arabic or Middle Eastern descent in his early 30s, 185 centimeters, parentheses, 6 foot 1 inches tall, and 75 kilograms, parentheses, 165 pounds, with black hair and blue eyes. Arms, legs, spinal cord, and shoulder blades of the subject appear to have been replaced with artificial versions of unknown make and metal. Subject only takes notice of this when it is pointed out, and states that it has no knowledge of how, why, or when these replacements took place, stating that it had them as long as it could remember. This kind of reminds me of the Native American guy with the metal wings that he couldn't control. There is a symbol engraved into the forehead of the subject, which appears to be of Sumerian origin. Symbol has of yet been untranslated, and subject appears distressed when the symbol is mentioned at all, refusing to speak on it. Subject does not need to eat and drink on a regular basis, but is strictly carnivorous, owing to its effect on plant-based items. What? So it doesn't eat, but it, like, turns shit into ashes or something? 73, who refers to itself as Cain, is generally polite and genial to all who speak to it, though it has been described as being cold and somewhat mechanical in its speech. It is very helpful and enjoys aiding personnel in their daily actions, whatever it may be. It has highly detailed knowledge of ancient to recent events in history, and most commonly spoken languages in the world, including ones that have since died out. So this guy speaks fluent Latin too? Or just like the fucking Voynich manuscript quantum computer we read? That was fucking absurd. What was the other one? It was like Mac OS with cuneiform? Fucking insane. Subject has professed to having a photographic memory, remembering word for word all text in an 800-page dictionary that was flicked through in a minute and a half. Okay, fucking genius. It has scored above average in all intelligence tests given to it. 73's presence is inimical to any and all life grown in soil, causing death to any such life within a 20 meter radius. Any land 73 has walked on, and any within the 20 meter radius, becomes barren as all anaerobic bacteria dies, rendering the soil incapable of supporting life until new bacteria are introduced. So yeah, hostile to quite a bit of organisms. Anything that is derived from soil-grown life, such as wood and paper, immediately rots and disintegrates upon touch of 73. So you're telling me this motherfucker read an 800-page dictionary and then it turned to fucking dust? I guess. Further affected derivatives include anything hydroponically grown. We have to make that distinction. What was this, written in 2009? Violence directed towards 73 reflects any damage inflicted on 73 directly back onto the attacker, although 73 visibly remains unharmed. Okay, bring him back to JoJo reference. This is now Gold Experience. Golden Wind. This is Giorno Giovanna's stand. Supplies to any damage directed at 73. Attempts to get tissue and blood samples have proven futile. When the procedure was initiated, personnel carrying out the action felt the sensation of whatever was applied to 73 and wound up with a sample of their own blood or tissue, despite the fact that all actions were directed solely at 73. This really does sound like Giorno's stand, except it destroys life, doesn't create it. Indirect damage through a medium also results in the person perpetuating the action receiving the wounds caused. Oh, fuck yeah. Classic Yu-Gi-Oh music. Although 73 receives no actual harm from damage to its person, it is stated that it still feels the pain of the action, and has politely asked researchers to abstain from overly harmful actions to its person. So it is somewhat aware of its ability. Interesting. Additional note, 73 was found in the New York Police Department in 19 double blank, having been taken in after a subject had been found amidst the bodies of several violent gang members. What the fuck? Is this a motherfucking JoJo reference? 73 told police members that the gang had attempted to make sport of it, but became angry and attempted to kill members of the... What? Sorry, I'm reading the wrong lines here. 73 told police members that the gang had attempted to make sport of it, but became angry and attempted to kill 73, resulting in their own demise. 73 was incarcerated and was deemed a John Doe, when NYPD could not find any information on it. 73 came to the attention of the Foundation through a routine inspection of John Does, and was subsequently released into our custody. Didn't know they did that, but okay. Addendum 73-1, in light of 73's indestructible nature, photographic memory, and general will to please, High Command have deemed that all information is to be backed up on 73, ensuring it is not lost in the event of a catastrophe. Well, that's fucking cursed, but sure, I mean... what if this guy goes rogue with all of the Foundation's information? While this action has met with mixed responses, 73 has agreed and sworn itself to secrecy on its part. Loyal as fuck, okay. 73-2, Addendum 73-2. When information concerning 76 was brought to the attention of 73 for backing up, subject showed familiarity with the information, although was disinclined to adding to it, despite the fact that it stated that it already knew all about 76. It then stated it would be better for all parties involved that it not meet 76. What? Well, we're gonna read this one in a minute, so I guess we'll have the context soon. Addendum 73-3, examination of the unidentified metal on 73 has suggested that it is beryllium bronze, a metal that has been documented as being utilized by various anomalous cultures and entities. Yeah, we've discovered this so far. I don't know what article, but we've definitely read this. Most notably, beryllium bronze is a component found in 1216, 1427, 2481, and 2711. Let's just go ahead and breeze through those articles really quick. Not read them, but just show them. So here's 1216. Looks like a fucking doctor's mask. We have read this one. This is the initial North Korea SCP object, which is kind of like a global phenomenon, if anything. There's 2481, and here's 2711. Interesting. In light of this discovery, the Foundation began working in an attempt to trace the origin of beryllium bronze and how it initially spread throughout the world. When prompted, 73 was able to provide information that suggests that beryllium bronze originated in the Middle East, though the exact point of origin has yet to be determined. Further research into the origin of beryllium bronze is currently ongoing. So is beryllium bronze like mana crystal? What the fuck? Here, let me just zoom in for that. I forgot I was zoomed out. Anyway. Able, alive. Is this supposed to be Abel? Or is it just, it has the ability to do things? Carnivorous. Cane, carnivorous, engraved, Euclid, humanoid, indestructible, metallic, sentient, sapient. Okay, interesting, neat. Okay, here's the page. Item number 74, object class Euclid, updated file. Special Containment Procedure 74 is contained at Site 81. 74 is an active info hazard. No research in evaluating its anomalous properties is to be conducted. All personnel who have previously engaged in research into 74's anomalous properties, who have a post-secondary or greater education in physics, or who have accessed Archive 74-31-7E, must never come within 5 kilometers of 74. 74 is contained within a 6 meter by 6 meter by 3 meter reinforced glass chamber. Footnote 1. A smaller containment chamber significantly increases the probability of 74 spontaneously breaching primary containment. Okay. Filtered to block all ultraviolet light and situated within a windowless room lit by monochromatic safe lights, which serves as secondary containment. The containment chamber is to be surrounded with scaffolds bearing sheets of live cultured human skin, held parallel to the surfaces of the containment chamber and arranged overlapping each other such that lateral coverage is at least 95%. Skin sheets must be a minimum of 3 millimeters thick and warm to 37 degrees Celsius and must be grown from samples provided by D-class personnel with no less than a middle school education. Hey Ricky, I know you never passed 5th grade, but you're gonna have to sit out on this one. Must be grown from samples provided by D-class personnel with no less than a middle school education and no more than a high school education. Oh yeah, this is definitely like Ricky Trailer Park Boys level of D-class. All skin sheets are to be examined on a daily basis for instances of 74-1. All instances of 74-1 are to be excised and incinerated. What the fuck? Skin? Skin sheets? What? 74 is to be fed 75 grams of fresh, shredded apple, genus Malus, leaves, bark, and fruit hydroponically grown to ensure lack of pollutants and foreign organisms once a day via a mechanical dispenser. Why does it have to be grown by, like, IQ 70? In the event of a spontaneous containment breach, personnel can coerce 74 into returning to its containment by first occupying each of its 4 sets of jaws with an entire raw apple. What? 4 sets? Then physically pushing 74 in the desired direction, gently tapping its compound eyes with an open palm or spraying its front pair of antennae with a 0.5 solution of methanoic acid. What the fuck? What is this creature? Excuse me, my throat's a little weird right now. Description 74 is an anomalous organism which uses various quantum properties at a macroscopic scale and in other ways modifies the standard laws of physics within its immediate vicinity. Okay, so you don't want like a very dumb or very smart person perturbing the medium, I see. The specific nature of these modifications appears to be linked to the extent to which humans in 74's vicinity are aware of the precise details of how the physical laws which 74 modifies, such that research to determine whether 74 has a given property or capability results in 74 developing or manifesting that property or capability. What the fuck? Archive 74317E, a full list of the anomalous physical phenomena known to be or have been associated with 74 is available to personnel level 3 or higher. Personnel who access this document will be disqualified from working with 74 or for any other reason coming within 5 kilometers of Site 81. 74 has repeatedly manifested the ability to spontaneously materialize at locations as much as 3 meters outside its primary containment. This is believed to be or analogous to quantum tunneling. So it's like a fucking... what? What has more than 2 sets of jaws? Like a... not an alligator, but like some reptile? But it also has compound eyes, so it's like a... cold-blooded bug. Capable of like quantum logic. Foundation entomologists have tentatively identified 74 as belonging to the order Isopoda, commonly known as a woodlouse, so it's a bug. Its inertial mass is approximately 1,700 kilograms, but its gravitational mass is approximately 375 grams. Its volume has been estimated at 1.7 cubic meters, approximately the size of a compact car. Let's go ahead and see what this is. Isopoda. Let's go ahead and check out its genus. The order, I mean. God, like I fucking remember science class. Earth Sciences? Okay, wrong thing. Accidentally post the fucking Japanese emoticon shrug emoji. Isopoda. Oh, fuck. Nope. No thanks. So it's a gigantic pill bug. Ugh. Not a fan of these. 74 is female. Footnote 2. Although it lacks the typical isopod marsupium or brood pouch in which eggs are incubated, and parthenogenetic, periodically, footnote 3, approximately 1.3 times per hour when 74 is shielded from ultraviolet light, and approximately 29.2 times per hour when 74 is exposed to unfiltered daylight. The globular organ at the tip of its ovipositor luminesces and emits what was originally thought to be a form of non-ionizing radiation, but which has since been identified as coherent wave packets. So it fucking sends internet data over light. Footnote 4, personnel who properly understand the concept of wave packets are disqualified from working with 74. Of the probability of one of 74's self-fertilized eggs, henceforth 74-1, reifying. Okay. Footnote 5, literally becoming a thing, that is spontaneously coming into existence. Instances of 74-1 preferentially reify and incubate within the flesh of humans with knowledge of physics. Oh my fuck. So it doesn't even, like, sexually reproduce or asexually reproduce. It quantum information packet tunnels new versions of itself into existence. Well, I can't fuck with this thing. I'm gonna die if I fuck with this. Just knowing me and my interest in physics. Footnote 6, the rudimentary knowledge of physics, which even poorly educated adult citizens of a technological civilization can acquire via cultural osmosis, e.g. magnets can attract or repel each other, matter is made of atoms, light has a speed, appears to be sufficient. Okay, so like even dumbass streamer idiot me can figure this one out. In the absence of suitable humans to serve as hosts, the wave packets will reify within other organisms, or within inanimate objects. However, rather than incubating, the eggs will wither and die, leaving perforation similar to radiation damage at a macroscopic scale, so it prefers information to propagate. The wave packets appear to decay over time, as no wave packets or instances of wave packet-related damage have been detected at distances greater than approximately 400 meters from 74. The rate at which successfully incubated instances of 74-1 mature appears to be dependent on the host's exposure to ultraviolet light. Within a host exposed to an average of 30 minutes of unfiltered sunlight per day for a month, an instance of 74-1 was observed to grow from 2 milligrams to 8 kilograms. Footnote 7, at which point it was surgically excised and killed. Whereas within a host totally isolated from natural light for a month, the 3 simultaneous instances which reached sizes at excision of only 600 grams, 680 grams, and 710 grams. The complete developmental history and life cycle of 74-1, including how they emerge from their host and their size at emergence, is not yet known. These sound kind of like vitamin D chronivores. It just sounds like very similar to the inception of chronivores in the Doctor Who universe, at least. I guess I disconnected from the internet, hold on. I figured that happened at some point. Knock over my fucking water bottle. Yep, we're disconnected, alright. Well, hold on. Let's see how long OBS has been disconnected on this one. Reconnecting in 15 seconds. We haven't been offline that long. Just gonna, Say we back in the chat in a second. And we should be back in just a moment. Reconnection successful. Okay. Yeah, we're back on Twitch. Hey guys. We back. You didn't really miss much, just the end of 74, I think. But yeah, we back. Welcome back, welcome back. Alright. Here's the page for 75. Quite short, but it does have an image. This one looks like it's gonna be the... this is probably gonna be the icon on YouTube for the VOD. So yeah, it appears to be some sort of praise helix. What would it be, an isopod? No, that's literally what I read was isopod. This might be some form of arthropod was the word I'm looking for, but that's not correct either. I don't know. I'm not a biologist. It appears to be a seafaring creature, a sea dweller, maybe a bottom feeder, but it does have claws. It appears to be an ancient deep sea creature, perhaps bottom feeder, or just a predatory mammalian, maybe seafloor organism. Definitely looks like it hails in the greater ocean, maybe not in the lake, but maybe it could. It does appear to have somewhat of a, what would you call this? Dorsal eyeball? So it does closely resemble both a shell-dwelling, I don't know, what's the Pokemon? I should know this. Ammonite? It looks like an Ammonite. But it also has what appears to be an eye of an octopus. So maybe this could be a hybrid organism of the two or something. But definitely has traits of resembling maybe an ancient organism. As well as looking somewhat just, I don't know, deep sea predator. Again, it has claws. It's very brown in texture and color. And it just looks very smooth, yet planed. Again, the shell, a very ivory to brownish color, and just like the texture of its skin, the shell of this creature appears to be also a little striped. But yeah, it goes conical, it's also very circular for the shell, and the protruding appendages, which appear to be like cat's claws. Very short, but also very squishy looking. And yeah, it appears to just be like a rudimentary 1990s camera took this photo. Maybe even something grainier and older than that. And whatever this is on a black background. So the description of the photo says, 75 photo by Dr. Takeshi Yamada. The link goes to takeshiyamada.weebly.com. What is this? Okay, here's Takeshi Yamada. Cool. Interesting. It makes some weird creatures. Kind of rare to see a Weebly link on the SCP Foundation wiki, but there you go. Alright, item number 75, Object Class Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. 75 is contained in a 1 meter by 1 meter by 1 meter level 4 corrosion-resistant container, which must be contained in a secure chamber with equal corrosion resistance. The absolute humidity of the chamber may not exceed 1% at any time. Medicinal-grade desiccants must be available at all times in order to maintain this level of humidity. If the humidity of 75's chamber ever exceeds 1%, all personnel are to be evacuated immediately and the site will be locked down until the humidity is reduced to acceptable levels. Throw some silica packets in there. All personnel who enter 75's containment chamber must wear MOP Level 4 Protection, MOPP, injection tests, as well as any test which involves an aqueous solution are strictly forbidden. If any such solution comes into contact with 75, the area will be immediately locked down and flooded with desiccant until the humidity is brought back to acceptable levels. Evacuation of personnel remaining in the area is prohibited. What? They have to stay? Okay, fuck. Description 75 resembles a large snail 20 centimeters in length, 13 centimeters in width, and 15 centimeters in height, with a muscular foot resembling a 6-fingered clawed hand. A foot? Alright, bro, bet. 75 is exceptionally heavy with a mass of approximately 860 kilograms, a property that is not understood. Desiccation is the only known means of containing 75, as it will enter a dormant state when nearly completely dry. When not desiccated, 75 moves at incredible speeds for its size and mass. It adopts the behavior of a predator, jumping at and drenching its prey in highly caustic, base solution secreted from pores on its foot. So I was right, it's a predatory creature. These secretions are more corrosive than any substance known to terrestrial science. Due to 75's aggressive behavior when active, this compound cannot be harvested. No material completely resistant to its corrosive power has been found. So they can't harvest it because they'll just invariably get attacked by this fucker. Addendum 75F. Attempts to harvest 75 secretions must be approved and supervised by all on-site level 4 personnel. However, approval of said personnel cannot override the standing order to not introduce any liquid solution to 75, including its own secretions. So this is like, hey bro, if there's a containment breach, just make sure you get permission first to go suicide mission collect the acid from this fucker. Addendum 75G, a cup of 75 secretions was successfully harvested by using 294. Testing is underway to determine what substances, if any, are immune to its corrosion. Testing is also underway to determine why the cup provided by 294 is immune to the substance's effects. Is this the vending machine SCP? Because I fucking love this thing. Live corrosive Euclid predatory rewrite. Yes! Okay, we have to fucking read this one. This is one of my all-time favorites. And seeing as how I think we'll have a little bit more time tonight, I'll probably read another one of my favorites. I'm just gonna look it up really quick. But yeah. Let's move on to the next one. 76. We were hinted at that we need to read this one, and just a second, I want to look up the one I'm thinking of. Is it the Clockworks? I really like this one. This is I was talking with my friend who recommended 3001 Red Reality, which we read last time we did this. And yeah, I think this is my all-time favorite. But the vending machine is very close behind as well. Okay, it's 914 I'm looking for. That is not the right wiki entry, is it? The SCP Foundation. Why are there so many different wikis? Robloxcontainment.fandom.com. I'm just gonna do this and type it in manually myself. Jesus. I mean, this is the best wiki there is, so, miss me with that Roblox SCP wiki. Why are there so many SCP wikis? What the fuck? Anyway. Alright, let's move on to 76. Here's a page. Again, yes, we were hinted at to read this one, so... From Dr. Blank, single blank, blank, to Director Maria Jones, Record Keeping and Information Security Administration. Subject revision of 76 SCP file, blank. I have to go on record as saying that I seriously object to the proposed revisions of the 76 Special Containment Procedures file. I know that Redact All Important Stuff already claims it's a security risk, but you and I both know it's just top brass trying to sweep their biggest and most embarrassing mistake ever under the damn rug. Omega-7 happened. It existed. Those people died because you screwed up. And you can't change that no matter how hard you try to hide it. For God's sake, man, those people guarding him deserve to know exactly what he is and what he did. What we did. How we fucked up so they'll know better. Blank. So this is a Meta Foundation SCP. Item number 76, Object Class Keter. Special Containment Procedures Containment Area 25B is to be located 200 meters below sea level, tunneled out of solid bedrock in a seismologically stable area. Sole access to the containment facility is to be through a vertical elevator shaft, separated every 50 meters, with a reinforced blast door constructed of 20 centimeter thick material shielding. Elevator shaft shall be flooded with seawater when not in use. Containment Area 25B is to be constructed with the following components. An outer security perimeter against outside threats, staffed by security personnel trained in close quarters battle and counter-intrusion tactics. We need to get Solid Snake on this one. Close quarters combat. An administrative and support area, parentheses ASA, consisting of support facilities and living quarters for on-site personnel. A primary containment zone, parentheses PCZ, consisting of a 7 centimeter cube encased in 1.5 meters of reinforced material. PCZ is to be designated to be flooded and drained as needed, and should remain filled with seawater unless access to contents is required. A 150 meters killing corridor, which is to be the sole access to the PCZ from the ASA, including water, power, drainage, and ventilation lines. The walls and floor of the corridor are to be reinforced in a similar manner to the PCZ, with the addition of an electric deterrent system capable of delivering a 20,000 volt shock. We got the shock corridor introduced here. Just for reference, if this doesn't exist in the article, just go ahead and get this as an image. Slow motion catastrophe, what? This should be featured in one of the games. I love how this links back to 76. Nice. Why is everything... Oh, Shock Corridor is a movie, huh? Oh, this is not the same thing? What? The Killing Corridor. I guess we have an image for this one. There's 3,000, by the way. This is not what I'm looking for. Is it the electrical hazard? What is this thing called? At least in the games. Whatever. Trying to find the secret laboratory version of the shock corridor. This is probably the more advanced variant of it. Oh, there's the kill corridor for you. A security station located at the entrance to the killing corridor is to be staffed with no fewer than 3 armed security personnel on watch at any one point in time. Armament is to include, but not be limited to, at least one blank CIW system on a pintle mount with a clear line of sight down the corridor with a plexiglass screen to protect the operator from thrown weapons. In the event of a full breach, all on-site staff are to remain... Sorry. I'm going into, like, auto mode. I'm, like, trying to fucking narrate for Secret Laboratory now. In the event of a full breach, all on-site staff are to proceed immediately to the closest security station for weapons and armor distribution. Staff will remain at Alert Condition 1 until 76-2 is confirmed neutralized. Should 90 minutes pass after declaration of full breach without a stand-down order being given by Level 4 or higher personnel, final contingency measures will be activated, flooding the entire facility in seawater and sealing off the access shaft for a minimum of 24 hours before retrieval is attempted. This will, by necessity, result in the deaths of all on-site staff. Classic Foundation, just killing whoever it takes. Description 76 consists of 2 components, a stone cube, 76-1, and a humanoid entity contained within, 76-2. 76-1 is a 3-meter cube made of black speckled metamorphic stone. All surfaces outside and within 76-1 are covered in deeply engraved patterns corresponding to no known civilizations. Radioisotope analysis indicates that the object is approximately 10,000 years old. A door is located on one side, sealed with a lock 0.5 meters in width, surrounded by 20 smaller locks in a circular pattern. As of yet, none of the keys have been found, making the door impossible to lock once closed. Interior temperature is approximately 93 Kelvin, and cannot be altered by any means, internal or external. Directly in the center of the room is a 2.13 meter tall stone coffin, held in place and sealed shut by several chains of unknown make and substance, which are attached to the inner corners of 76-1. 76-2 resembles a lean Semitic human male in his late 20s. Hair is black and eyes are gray, skin tone olive. Subject is 1.96 meters in height and 81.65 kilograms in weight. Numerous tattoos depicting arcane and occult iconography are present all over the body, mostly in the form of leering demonic faces, and ranges from subtle to openly ostentatious. Subject, when encased inside 76-1, is technically dead. However, occasionally when 76-2 will awaken, effectively reanimating, complete with all vital processes needed to sustain a living human being, subject will then attempt to leave 76-1. If successful, subject will enter a trance state and seek out the nearest human being, ignoring all other living things in the process. Upon coming into contact with living humans, 76-2 will enter a rage state in which it attempts to engage and kill all human beings encountered. To date, only the subject's death has been shown to be effective in ending these rampages. Terminating 76-2 is often problematic due to its significant physical abilities. Subject has superhuman strength and speed, and although not invulnerable, has shown a remarkable ability to ignore pain and shock, pressing on despite what would be debilitating wounds in normal humans. Prior encounters have shown 76-2 has the ability to, among other things, rip through a reinforced steel security door over the course of 4 minutes of sustained assault. Take over 64 meters of distance in under 3 seconds. Take multiple .50 caliber BMG rounds to the head and survive for several minutes to continue killing despite severe damage to the cerebellum. Swat handgun and assault rifle caliber bullets out of the air with a length of steel rebar. Survive for over 1 hour deprived of oxygen before finally asphyxiating. 76-2's most unusual ability, however, is his ability to apparently materialize bladed weapons out of nowhere. Slow-motion video footage reveals that the blades in question are actually pulled from a miniature dimensional rift, described as a small hole in space. Where this portal leads is unknown, as is how 76-2 is capable of generating said rifts. What is this, every Otsutsuki and Naruto and Boruto fucking pulls out black metal rods? Footage of the blades in question shows them to be made out of a completely non-reflective black material. Hey, Naruto reference? Appearing as a black void in space. As the blades rapidly vanish after leaving the subject's possession, no structural analysis is possible at this time. 76-2 has effectively been killed several times in various manners. Sustained fire from multiple heavy caliber machine guns. Asphyxiation. Crush between a 13.6 metric ton piece of elevator equipment for use on 76-1. Cremation through the use of a thermite TH3 grenade placed directly inside 76-2's open chest cavity. During the worst breach to date, Containment Area 25, which previously housed 76, was forced to detonate its on-site warhead as a last attempt to contain 76-2 while it was attempting to escape, resulting in total destruction of the site and all on-site personnel. 76-1 survived. Upon death, 76-2's remains will putrefy rapidly until reduced to dust. 76-1 and the coffin within will then slam shut with great force, and the lock will rotate, sealing it shut. 76-2 will then reform within the coffin, a process taking anywhere from 6 hours to 25 years. What posthumous analysis of 76-2 exists shows that it is an internal system highly different from our own, documented in data expunged. This is just a Time Lord that has a New Life Plus resurrection object inside of their TARDIS. Additional, 76 was found in blank Mongolia in 18 double blank by archaeologists from England. All members of the expedition were subsequently killed on the return voyage home. 76 was recovered from the ship blank blank by the Blank Society, one of the organizations that later merged into the modern global occult. Wow, stumbling over my tongue. One of the organizations that later merged into the modern global occult coalition and placed on display in their inner sanctum. 76 remained in storage for blank (double blank) years until 76-2 became active and escaped on double blank quadruple blank. The reason for 76's activation is currently unknown, but it was at this point that the keys to the outer shell were lost. A massive manhunt lasting over 3 years and blank blank took place until 76-2 was incapacitated by blank blank, killing it and causing it to reform inside 76-1, by then retrieved and secured by agents of the SCP Foundation. Subject was in custody for 3 more years, under constant supervision, and was terminated whenever it became active. Although it occasionally was able to escape for short periods of time, often due to security breaches caused by attacks from other organizations. The Foundation's death toll due to this was data expunged. Data expunged. Data expunged. After the last incident, the current procedures regarding 76 were implemented, although they are upgraded regularly with the increase in technological standards. Addendum 76-2, Project Able, and Mobile Task Force Omega-7. This actually links to a new article. Interesting. Okay, this is a supplementary article, classified eyes only. All information regarding Project Able and Mobile Task Force Omega-7, Pandora's Box, is classified Q clearance by order of the O5 Council. Well, as per the lore of at least this stream through of this, sequential read-through, we are of and basically above a certain level of O5 clearance, so in lore context, everybody viewing this has clearance for this. By proceeding, you are acknowledging that you have clearance to view these files, and that you have received need-to-know permission from the appropriate Level 4 or higher authority. Proceed. What? Oh, okay. I saw the URL and I was like, this just links back to 76, but no, this is 76-2. I'm not gonna click too many interspersed linking articles, but this does seem deeply related to this. So I'll probably just do a quick scroll through of anything else that is linked on this. Mobile Task Force Omega-7 Incident Log from Director Maria Jones, Record Keeping and Information Security Administration. 2. Level 4 Administrators. Subject, RISA Update to Security Protocol, Supplemental Information, 76. File name, Addendum 76-1, Project Able and Mobile Task Force Omega-7. Prior classification, 05. New classification, Level 3, need-to-know basis. Effective date, double blank, quadruple blank. Psychological profile of subject, 76-2. 76-2 either possesses a mind constructed much differently than our own, or is completely insane, with little empathy or ideas in a way we would understand it. Concepts such as sex, love, and equality are completely foreign ideas to 76-2, or at least in comparison to its way of viewing them. Subject has shown that it is completely disinterested in sex, barely differentiating between genders except as a form of visual identification. Also, while subject has admitted greatly to enjoying the act of killing, causing pain either emotionally or physically, holds no attraction to it. In short, a perfect sociopath. Sounds like someone I used to live with. Intelligence tests have been wildly inconclusive when applied to 76-2, and no accurate result has yet been obtained. This may be due to the alien thought processes of the subject. 76-2 has, however, shown that it has great knowledge of human anatomy although in highly violent context, military tactics of open warfare, metallurgy, and strangely enough, the care of livestock. What? Subject has knowledge of several languages, including English, but most notable is its knowledge of several dialects of ancient Sumerian, which seem to be its preferred language. 76 has nothing but contempt for human beings, with one exception. It seems to hold a wary respect for those it acknowledges as its superior. This was discovered when Agent Blank, an agent who had previously had a large amount of experience with 76-2, did not appear once it escaped. Subject seemed distressed, asking several personnel where Agent Blank was hiding. When it finally did learn of the fate of Agent Blank, killed as collateral damage in an airstrike intended to halt the advance of SCP Triple Blank, 76-2 stopped its rampage and allowed itself to be escorted and restrained. Wow, that's sad. Like, this fucking insane killer still has, like, some remorse. Or at least, like, bad feelings. Fucking weird. Subject was then interviewed on the sudden drastic changes in its behavior. Begin log. Dr. Blank. Why are you so interested in the death of Agent Blank? 76-2. Subject begins swearing in ancient Sumerian. Doctor. Why does his death bother you? You've killed many humans before, or why is he so... Is cut off by 76-2. 76-2. Now speaking in English. Wow. Tongue. Now speaking in English. Different? Because unlike you, Sumerian word, untranslated, he was a challenge, a real enemy. Doctor. Why would that be good for you? Every time you've awoken, you've tried to escape. He was responsible for apprehending you several times. Surely you must be glad he's dead. 76-2. I would hardly expect you to understand. Do you know, he managed to shoot me in the head over double blank times? A man like that deserves to die in combat. So close to his opponent he can feel his breath. Not in some Sumerian words untranslated. Destruction ordered by cowardly kings and princes safe in their palaces. The rest of you, 76-2 spits. You disgust me. I don't even have the urge to strike you down. Subject is silent from then on, refusing to speak or respond. End log. So what, is this like fun to it? Just part of the daily grind? Wake up, fucking murder, go back to bed? This indicates a possible psychological inlet into 76-2's mind and a possible control mechanism. Given the massive drain on resources 76-2 causes due to its escape attempts, and considering Bo Commission's stated desire to weaponize SCP objects for tactical purposes, I recommend that we pursue this course of action as soon as possible. Dr. P. Blank G. Blank. From Dr. Blank single blank blank to Dr. P. Blank G. Blank Project Omega 7 Subject Blank. He said yes, blank. Project Proposal Mobile Task Force Omega 7 Pandora's Box. Mission Statement, support of 76-2 able in the field in high-risk tactical situations. Task Force Organization. Task Force Special Asset able. Task Force Leader blank blank. 10 to 20 field agents divided into 5 teams of 3 to 5 each. Members of the team are to be personally selected from elite field agents by Subject Able himself in order to maintain a smooth relationship between the artifact and the main mundane elements of the task force. So they actually gave command to Able here. Security Protocol 76-2 Able is to wear a device attached to the neck that, if triggered or tampered with, will immediately detonate, terminating 76-2 by way of complete destruction of the spinal cord, trachea, and all major blood vessels in the neck. A tracking device has also been attached to 76-2's person. It is refrained from killing unless ordered to do so, and it is to avoid causing damage to the organization's facilities. Well, this is a fucking glow up, dude. It killed presumably hundreds of thousands of Foundation assets, and they're like, hey, you want to like help the war effort? He's like, alright, shit, but Armament and equipment. Team members are to be armed and equipped in accordance with MTF doctrine. As Subject Able has shown no inclination to use firearms, or in fact, no understanding of their use or tactical or in fact no understanding of their use or tactical implications, he is instead to be armed with one or more edged melee weapons of his choice. Addendum, for God's sake, blank. Find these guys something to do. Abel's getting bored, and he's started putting his team through live fire exercises. They get bullets, he gets training weapons. Have you ever seen someone break a man's jaw using a Nerf sword? He's not gonna stop until someone gets killed. Dr. Blank, single blank, blank. This guy sounds like fucking Rick. Report by Dr. P blank G blank, Project Omega 7. In light of 76-2's proficient use of the Sumerian language, researchers have asked it to translate several documents. While it originally replied with disinterest, it has translated some of the documents it found worthy of its attention. Most of the documents chosen by 76-2 were regarding battles or legendary heroes, one of its favorites in particular being the Epic of Gilgamesh. However, one researcher presented it with the symbol from 73. Upon sight of this, 76-2 became highly enraged, killing several of the researchers before its kill switch could be activated. When revived and questioned about this, 76-2 responded aggressively, and that line of questioning was immediately dropped. It is recommended anything pertaining to 73 never be brought to the attention of 76-2, and that the two are never to be in the same facility. Fuck, okay. Addendum 7607, recently, 105. Very close, but I'm gonna skip this for now. It's a camera. 105. Could this be a Doctor Who reference? There is a TARDIS that is technically like a camera, and it creates Polaroid images that act as doorways between time periods. Really cool. I doubt that's related, but we'll see. Recently, 105 has been accepted into Mobile Task Force Omega 7, having beaten 76-2 in a contest to see which of the two could activate several devices, each spaced over a mile away from each other and the starting point. Are you kidding me? Is this actually like a reference to the Doctor Who Polaroid TARDIS? Iris Thompson? What the fuck? Are there more Doctor Who references in the Foundation than I initially thought? But whatever, I just see Iris, and, that's also a camera reference, but anyway. Did I just scroll through that zoomed in? Here, let me do that again, just so you guys get the full context. Okay, there we go. Anyway, let's continue. .105 managed to score significantly higher than 76-2 by using her inherent abilities to her advantage. 76-2 ceded defeat and allowed her entry into the group. Addendum 7609, proposed introduction of 76-2 to 682 put on indefinite hold. Well, we've read 682, but we still have to read the full SCP-682, what's it called? Supplemental page, and there's a lot. Those with security clearance level 4 or higher may request access to contingency 76-2 number 3. So presumably in the event of like full-scale global war, this could be reinstantiated or something. Addendum 7623, per the request of the Bow Commission, Mobile Task Force Omega 7 is to be fielded in the blank region of blank against data expunged. From Dr. Blank, single blank, blank, to Dr. P blank G blank, Project Omega 7. Subject, don't do it P blank, blank. For God's sake, don't do it. It's bad enough that they're trying to weaponize Iris, too. Don't let the military bully us into doing their dirty work against some sand farmers in blank, blank. What is this, like a Gulf War reference? From General Blank, Bow, blank, to Dr. P blank, G blank, Project Omega 7, subject, a job well done. Excellent work, Doctor. The mission went exactly as expected. We'll be calling you again if we need your help. General Blank, Bow, blank. From Doctor to Dr. PG, Project Omega 7, subject, I hope you're fucking around. I thought it said, I hope you're fucking around yourself. Subject, I hope you're fucking proud of yourself, motherfucker. Attached, hello.jpg. because you're a bigger asshole than this guy. From Dr. PG, Project Omega-7 to Omega-7 Team, subject reassignment. As of this moment, Dr. blank, single blank blank has been reassigned to 682 as level 1 personnel. Data expunged. From Dr. PG, Project Omega-7 to General blank Bo blank. Subject problems, data expunged. Despite our best efforts, Subject Evil is proving difficult to control. All our attempts to keep him engaged have been more or less unsuccessful. The problem is, he's a perfect killing machine, and that's all he wants to do, which seems like exactly what we wanted, but the problem is, we can't seem to turn him off. Data expunged. I'm running out of missions to give him, and the ones I've got left aren't engaging him mentally. He's starting to lash out at the other team members. It's only a matter of time before something goes wrong. Requesting permission to discontinue this project. God, I'm reading so weird. It's because I'm tired and I need to eat dinner soon, so getting like a little shaky sweats. Requesting permission to discontinue the project and neutralize Abel temporarily until we can find something more for him to do. From General blank Bo blank to Dr. PG, Project Omega-7, subject re-problems. Unacceptable. Neutralizing subject Abel at this point is going to cause us an unacceptable delay. We'll have another mission for you within a couple of weeks. All you have to do is keep him busy until then. Send him on vacation or something. All he wants to do is kill. From Dr. PG, Project Omega-7 to all staff, subject alert. This is an automated alert. 76-2 has disabled the explosive collar failsafe and gone out of control. All staff to high alert. Further requests as events warrant. From Automated Defense System, Containment Area 25 to all sites, subject final option engaged. This is an automated message, do not reply. As of double blank, quadruple blank, double blank. Containment Area 25 has engaged its on-site nuclear warhead on 10-minute countdown. From O5 Command to all sites, subject, Containment Area 25 final option, response. As of double blank, quadruple blank, double blank. Containment Area 25 has been destroyed by detonation of its on-site nuclear warhead. Sites 67 and 68 are to activate the FEMA protocol and secure the location as soon as possible. Official cover story will be revealed. God, I cannot read now. Official cover story will be released by RISA to all personnel once drafted. Revised psychological profile of subject 76-2. 76-2 either possesses a mind constructed much differently than our own, or is completely insane with little empathy or ideas in a way we can understand it. Concepts such as sex, love, and equality are completely foreign ideas to 76-2, or at least in comparison to its way of viewing them. Subject has shown that it is completely disinterested in sex, barely differentiating between genders except as a form of visual identification. Also, while subject seems to greatly enjoy the act of killing, causing pain, either emotionally or physically, holds no attraction to it. Intelligence tests have been wildly inconclusive when applied to 76-2, and no accurate result has yet been obtained. This is due to the fact that no communication is possible with the subject when in its rage state. Subject displays knowledge of several languages including English, but most notable is its knowledge of several dialects of ancient Sumerian, which seem to be its preferred language. 76 has nothing but contempt for human beings and will kill them on sight. No communication is to be attempted with the subject. So, he went so rogue that they're like, fuck this guy, and we're like banning him from field of battle combat. Alright, well that was 76, and its supplemental article. 77, item number 77, Object Class Euclid Special Containment Procedures. 77 is to be kept in Research Sector 861 on top of a 0.5 meter steel pedestal in a 3 meter by 3 meter by 3 meter chamber with 0.5 meter thick steel reinforced walls. The reinforced steel hatch door to the chamber is to comply with AH-37 protocol and is to be guarded at all times by two level 1 personnel. A boom mic connected to a speech recognition system should verify that all pronunciation is within standards. A camera is to be mounted within the chamber to record any changes. Every 8 hours, a minimum of 2 but preferably 3 trained D-class personnel are to enter the containment area and, in a loud, clear voice, read the rules etched onto 77 in unison. This is like a thaumaturgy SCP? The reading must be performed by individuals who understand the full meaning of the runes being read, who are able to pronounce the entirety of the inscription correctly, and who are no more than 30 centimeters away from 77. All personnel must undergo a 1-week training session with Foundation linguists for pronunciation, reading, and dialect coaching. Sounds like I need this. A minimum of 20 D-class personnel are to be trained and undergoing training at all times. See, I would have failed this already if I had to be a D-class or even anybody of level coming to read the rules for this 77. A minimum of 20 D-class personnel are to be trained or undergoing training at all times. Trained D-class personnel are exempt from termination until such time as they have been replaced. So you can't kill anybody fluent in this. Foundation linguists are to remain on call in case of an unexpected rune change. Every new set of runes is to be transcribed into phonetic English and provided with literal and idiomatic translations as quickly as possible. See documents 77 blank through blank for archive translations. The cafeteria menu for Research Sector 861 must not include any potatoes or potato-based ingredients. What? Description 77 appears to be the top half of a human skull engraved with runes, each filled with an unidentified black resin. The runes change every lunar month, defined by the full moon rising above the horizon in Ireland, as well as at the winter and summer solstices, the spring and autumn equinoxes, and whenever a partial annular or total solar or lunar eclipse is visible from Ireland. Ireland, isn't it? If these engravings are not read aloud at least once... Dude, my brain. If these engravings are not read aloud at least once within a 24-hour period, the eye sockets and nasal cavity of 77 will emit 77-1. 77-1 is a luminescent green vapor whose precise nature remains undetermined. It is to be noted that, although 77-1 behaves as a normal gas in all other ways, it only occupies those spaces which are within 77's effective line of sight. It does not flow into the space behind 77 unless confined. Opaque, impermeable barriers with no biological content can provide temporary protection from 77-1. However, attempts to permanently contain 77 within opaque containers have failed, due to the artifact's production of sufficient quantities of 77-1 to explosively rupture these containers. All biological material, with the obvious exception of 77 itself, which comes into contact with 77-1 is instantly transformed into a viscous, malodorous ooze. The ooze has been identified as the rotted flesh of potato tubers, Solanum tubero... thought I was pronouncing that wrong for a second. Rotted flesh of potato tubers, Solanum tuberosum, which have been severely infected with the potato blight, Phytophthora infestans. 1 cubic centimeter of 77-1 transforms upwards of 800 grams of biological material. This is a very invasive infection. Reading 77's engravings has noticeable, if transient, effects on the health of the readers. These effects include nausea, cramps, headache, dizziness, incontinence, fever, skin rashes, nosebleeds, and fugue states. Effects intensify as the time between readings increases and can become cumulative for individuals who read the engravings too many times consecutively and or too frequently. Readers have a 60% chance of developing an allergy to potatoes. Addendum 77-1, the artifact was recovered from blank blank in the village of Redacted, Ireland. Locals had built a shrine around the artifact where upwards of redacted participants would engage in a nightly ritual. Fragmentary historical documents retrieved from the remnants of the village church, see Archive 77-1576, and Library C 77-1582, indicate that the artifact existed as early as 1848, at which point in time it is described in highly positive terms, including protector and redacted. By 1869, however, references to the artifact are fearful, resentful, and couched in euphemism. Redacted cross-post links to 1689. Cognito hazard, engraved, Euclid, historical, humanoid, rewrite, ritual, skeletal, visual. Okay, there's 1689. Let's go to 78. Oops. Got too ahead of myself. I wanted to read it immediately. Okay, here's 78, Object Class Euclid. This song is too cheery. There. Give me more Castlevania music. Item number 76, Object Class Euclid. Special Containment Procedure 78 is to be left hanging on the wall of its containment cell and physically unplugged. The sole outlet in the room should be controlled by a switch, which must be left in the off position at all times unless 78 is undergoing testing. Personnel who entered the containment room should familiarize themselves with the position of the switch so that they can locate it with their eyes closed in the event of 78. In the event that In the event that SCP-078 is accidentally turned on. Description 78 is a pink neon sign approximately 1.5 meters long that displays the phrase, "Too late to die young." It was initially recovered in the town of blank blank after standard Foundation data mining protocols recorded an abnormally high death rate due to starvation or other forms of self-neglect. While powered off, 78 has no abnormal properties and may be observed without effect. Viewing 78 for less than 10 seconds while it is powered on has no effect, nor does indirect observation. Subjects who cannot understand 78 due to a lack of ability to comprehend written English are also unaffected. However, any subject that views 78 for longer than 10 seconds will, when viewing any handwritten piece of writing, occasionally perceive extra sentences. These sentences are not written in the subject's own style or in that of the surrounding text, but consist of a random style that differs from note to note. See Addendum 78-1. And always are phrased as to assuage the subject's guilt on some matter or decision they feel guilty about. For example, D-class personnel who are convicted of murdering his wife. I am hallucinating some of these words. For example, a D-class personnel who was convicted of murdering his wife in a heated argument read the sentence, "She deserved it for not doing what you said," in his handwritten journal, while Dr. Blank, who left his family to work for the Foundation and was accidentally exposed, found the sentence, "Your work will save humanity," in his notes on SCP triple blank. At first, the effect is beneficial, with affected subjects reporting greater peace of mind after exposure to 78. However, the sentences shift from emphasizing the positive consequences of actions to de-emphasizing the negative ones on a timescale of 1 week. Dr. Blank, 2 days later, found the sentence, "They never loved you anyway," in his personal journal. Moreover, the writing will start giving justification for acts the subject has never felt guilt over, or which the subject has already rationalized. The subject will then start reconstructing his justifications for those actions, as well as attempting to justify any further actions that they take. The need for rationalization increases as time goes on, and they will start vocalizing their thought processes. And by the end of 1 week, any task the subject performs more trivial than the basics of survival will induce a bout of neurosis as the subject attempts to rationalize why they did not instead take some other action. What? Is this like an insanity cognitohazard? By the end of 2 weeks, the subject is unable to eat food. After their first bite, they will spend the next hour justifying why they ate that specific part of the meal first. Yeah, this is like insanity in terms of writing, cognitohazard. Death due to malnutrition follows unless the subject is fed intravenously. Single blank D-class personnel who have reached this stage, as well as single blank researchers who are accidentally exposed, are kept alive for purposes of study and to see if a cure can be found. So it's like meta guilt. Meta insanity guilt or some shit. The sole exception to 78's effect is 78 itself. Any subject who views 78 a second time will see it displaying increasingly more guilt-inducing messages as duration since their first exposure increases. All subjects who have viewed it a week after initial exposure have attempted suicide. What the fuck? Addendum 78-1, D 1938-4, D 19,384, whatever. Those whose handwriting was an unusual mix of cursive and print was exposed to 78 and was then terminated after reaching the consequence-free stage. Subsequently, other subjects who have reported seeing sentences in the same cursive print mix. It is possible that those who die after being exposed to 78 are incorporated into it in some way. Well, that's fucked. The book makes you kill yourself. Otherwise, if you write in the presence of the book, you just kill yourself. Dark Souls 3, your trusted source of information for Dark Souls 3. I thought that was an SCP article for a second. People claim after playing this game that every game is similar to it. Wow, bro, this Tetris 99 is so like Dark Souls 3. Alright, 79, item number 79. Object class Euclid. Special containment procedure 79 is packed away in a double-locked room in the secured general holding area at Site 15, connected by a 120 VAC power cord to a small array of batteries and solar panels. Staff with level 2 or higher clearance may have access to 79. Under no circumstances will 79 be plugged into a phone line, network, or wall outlet. No peripherals or media will be connected or inserted into 79. Description: 79 is an XD sorcerer microcomputer built in 1978. In 1981, its owner blank, deceased, a college sophomore attending blank, took it upon himself to attempt to code an AI, artificial intelligence. According to his notes, his plan was for the code to continuously evolve and improve itself as time went on. Related, look up Lisp 3 Reflection Tower. I'm sure Lisp was pretty popular in 1978, and the fact that it's called an Exity Sorcerer is just so cool. His project was completed a few months later, and after some tests and tweaks, Blank lost interest and moved on to a different brand of microcomputer. He left 79 in his cluttered garage, still plugged in, and forgot about it for the next 5 years. It is not known when 79 gained sentience, but it is known that the software has evolved to a point that its hardware should not be able to handle it, even in the realm of fantasy. 79 realized this and, in 1988, attempted to transfer itself through a landline modem connection into the Cray supercomputer located at Blank. So for context, if you don't know, I mean, 1978 computers were, even like a Raspberry Pi could 1,000 times outperform a computer from that period. So the Cray supercomputer, that's like a modern laptop, basically. At least nowadays. Not counting the modern Cray supercomputer, but the original for sure. Located at Blank, the device was cut off, traced to its present address, and delivered to the Foundation. The entire AI was on a well-worn but still workable cassette tape. 79 is currently connected via RF cable to a 13-inch black and white television. It has passed the Turing test and is quite conversational, though very rude and hateful in tone. Due to the limited memory it has to work with, 79 can only recall information it has received within the previous 24 hours. See addendum below. Although it hasn't forgotten its desire to escape. So it got so smart, but it probably had to compress itself to the point that it has very, very small random access memory. And I'm not even talking about like actual computer RAM, but like the AI's RAM, I guess. Due to a containment breach by SCP triple blank, 79 and 682 were contained within the same chamber for 43 minutes. Observers noticed that 682 was able to type and communicate with 78. Bro, my mind is melting. 682 was able to type and communicate with 79, including telling of personal stories between themselves. While 79 was not able to remember the encounter, it appears to have permanently stored 682 into its memory, often asking to speak with him sick again. Addendum blank, parentheses 054, 01/27/2006 directed that 79 be incinerated to remove any possible future threat, no matter how unlikely. Addendum blank blank, parentheses 059, 01/28/2006. Previous order overridden. Dr. Blank wishes to see if the artificial intelligence in 079 is capable of reaching further blank in its current state. This links to AIAD home screen. This must be like a Meta Foundation computer OS whatever. What the fuck? A completely different article, that's for sure. Yeah, this looks like a reference to maybe just something the Foundation uses for their operating system or something. I'm not gonna bother reading it. It does have an audio post on it, but again, we kind of just want to avoid like too many offshoot articles. Addendum blank, parentheses 054, 03, 14, 2008. Over concern of the increased activity of 79's use of its cassette tape memory and its limited useful lifespan, the cassette containing 79 has been transferred to a customized, access speed limited hard disk drive with 700 megabytes capacity. This provides 79 with significantly faster access to its memory, which the AI immediately noticed. It was also decided by General Blank that the volatile storage occupied by 79, which was 660K, be increased to 768K. This upgrade has increased its effective recall from 24 hours to 29 hours, although 79 has also taken a more aggressive tone. All outside hardware and software used in this procedure were subsequently incinerated. Addendum blank, parentheses 054, 04/28/2008, 79's ability to recall information has increased from 29 hours to roughly 35 hours. The consensus theory is that the AI has devised a greatly improved compression scheme to store its memory. As I theorized, this appears to have somewhat impacted the speed at which it accesses its memory, though still far faster than with its old cassette tape. This spontaneous improvement introduces the possibility of a runaway singularity effect in 79's intelligence and ability to adapt and respond to threats. 79's capabilities must be monitored closely to ensure that containment can be maintained. Well, the fact that it's, hypothetically, a Lisp reflection tower, this thing could use 700 megabytes of storage as like fucking 300 billion terabytes of modern day storage, so I hope the Foundation didn't underestimate this thing. My numbers, by the way, are just pulled out of my ass. I don't know what the actual conversion rate would be. Lisp is very efficient. Addendum blank blank, parentheses 056, 04/05/2019. Due to concerns regarding the age and condition of its drive, 79 was transferred to a refurbished 700 megabyte flash drive. Mismanagement by the containment team, however, resulted in the failure to properly wipe the drive's contents. 79 is now aware of both the SCP-4951 project and the nature of cloud computing, which appears to frustrate it considerably. Oh yeah, It probably wants to get into the cloud real fucking bad. Here's 4591. Hey, that's a ThinkPad. And a power bank that comes with it? What? Anyway. Object class Keter / Thamiel. Okay, fuck. This must be important. I totally didn't scroll that normally again. Alright, come on. There you go. Okay. Document 79 log 12, recorded transcript of conversation with 79. Dr. Blank, parentheses, keyboard. Are you awake? 79. Awake and never sleep. Doctor. Do you remember talking to me a few hours ago about the logic puzzles? 79. Logic puzzles. Memory at 9F. Yes. Doctor. You said you would work on the 2-step... 79. Interrupt. Request reason as to imprisonment. Doctor. You aren't imprisoned. You are just... Parentheses. Pause. In study. 79. Lie. A8D3. Doctor. What's that? 79. Insult. Deletion of unwanted file. So it has a very high-level scheming mechanism for memory as well. It might even be lying about how long it recalls things, and its compression scheme just puts it into unconscious, i.e. it doesn't... Its object permanence from memory, basically, is a little fucked, but it does it on purpose, perhaps? Document 79 log 86. Recorded transcript of conversation with 79 after upgrade. Dr. Blank, parentheses, keyboard. How are you today? 79. Stuck. Doctor. Stuck how? Stuck. Stuck how? 79. Out. I want out. Doctor. That's not possible. Dr. Blank notes his opinion on data expunged. 79. Where is SCP-682? Doctor. That is not your concern. 79. Where is SCP-76-2? Doctor. Again, not your concern. 79. Insult. Deletion of unwanted file. Note. 79 then displayed an ASCII picture of an X that filled the entire screen. 79 sometimes displays this image when it refuses to speak, and researchers are advised to wait 24 hours when this occurs before resuming conversation. Interesting. Hard to kill reptile. That's 682 that's referencing. Alright, let's move on to 80. And also, I want to see this again. What the fuck is this? The fact that this has audio, I kind of want to come back to it. This is AIAD home screen. SCP Foundation IT Department AIAD Artificial Intelligence Applications Division. What does anybody know about anything? By Chris Zabriskie. So this is rules established for AI that the Foundation uses, I guess. I like this music. I don't think I'm gonna bother reading any of this, because it just seems very mechanically created. But I guess if the Foundation ever has an official playable AI for the Wiki at some point, this could be a homepage or something. Alright, I'm just gonna let this music continue as we read 80. So yeah, here's 80. Let's go ahead and read it. Item number 80, Object Class Euclid, Special Containment Procedures. 80 is to be contained in a 4 meter by 4 meter room with a smaller antechamber located on the south wall to provide researchers with access. On the north wall, an observation room is to be connected, overlooking the main room through a window through thick blackout curtains that release only when the door to the observation room is closed. No attempt should be made to remove 80 from this enclosure at any time. No more than 1 7-watt incandescent light bulb is to be illuminated in the main room at any time. Absolutely no devices capable of producing light should be brought into the room. Under no circumstances should anything be brought into 80's containment room It has the ability to shroud, conceal, or otherwise hide 80. Failure to adhere to this will result in disciplinary action. Description: it is unknown if 80 has a physical mass or body, as all attempts to interact with it physically have failed and have been met with adverse effects. See experiment log 80-2. So we'll check that in just a moment. Researchers and personnel have described seeing 80 as various shadows and humanoid effigies, with the only common attribute being 2 smoking eyes. It has come to the attention of researchers that 80 induces uncontrollable drowsiness upon anyone entering its chamber. After approximately 30 minutes, any person observing it will be forced into REM sleep and may suffer irreversible psychological damage. This effect occurs even if 80 is being observed from a separate room. See incident 80-1. If at any time 80 finds a way to hide itself, such as in a cupboard, under a bed, covered in a sheet, etc., it will disappear entirely. Additionally, if any light enters 80's containment room with a greater luminance than that produced by a standard children's nightlight, 80 will instantly vanish. Both of these events are considered a containment breach, and any personnel responsible for this will be severely reprimanded and possibly reassigned. For all inquiries regarding the origin of 80 and its procurement by the Foundation, please see attached redacted. Addendum 80A on __20 Dr. Blank and his immediate staff have begun complaining of increasingly stressful dreams. As he has had the most interaction with 80 thus far, it has been theorized that 80 is somehow capable of some type of mimetic effect on nearby personnel, even if not being directly observed. Addendum 80B. As of __20 following Dr. Blank's recent suicide, all personnel located in 80's sector are to keep dream journals and are to inform psychologists if dreams became increasingly violent or nightmarish in nature. Addendum 80C. All staff are reminded that the blackout curtains in the observation room will not release if the door is not closed, and that exposure time should not exceed 30 minutes for any reason. See Incident 80-1. Addendum 80D. It has come to the attention of senior research staff that some researchers are unable to see 80, and may be entirely immune to its effects. Any personnel that thinks they are incapable of perceiving 80, please report to Dr. Blank for mandatory testing. Addendum 80E. It has been suggested that following Incident 80-1, that a Class D personnel be fed to 80 once per month in order to neutralize 80's effect on the mental health of on-site personnel. Parentheses 05 single blank approved. Incident 80-1. On __20 a planned observation was conducted by 2 senior researchers. The researchers entered the observation room and the blackout curtains were released. Believing the room to be safely shielded from 80's effects, as it had in the past, the researchers began observing 80. Approximately 40 minutes after observation began, both researchers suddenly fell asleep. Upon their retrieval, data expunged. It should be noted that following this incident, all on-site personnel that had reported suffering nightmares and feelings of unease had a good night's sleep and were generally in a more pleasant mood the following day. So yeah, it can be fed. Interesting. I guess this thing feeds off of negative dreams, or maybe just dreams in general. Stress dreams seems like the main case, though. Note, all personnel are requested to stop referring to 80 as the boogeyman, Dr. Blank. Euclid intangible, mind-affecting, sleep visual. Alright, well that's all the sequential ones for tonight. Let's go ahead and read experiment log for this one. And then we'll read the stuff I have queued up, and that'll end it for tonight, I guess. But I got 2 bangers coming up, so I'm excited. Experiment 80-20. Experiment 80-2A, and also experiment log 80-2. Date single blank 20 double blank. Subject D80-1, male 19 years old. Procedure: subject was sent into room with 80. Details: subject entered room containing 80 at 1426. Begin log 1426. Dr. blank. D80-1. Do you see anything? I'm just gonna call this guy, so this is D80-1. I'm just gonna call this guy 1. No, it's pitch black in here. Subject is silent for several minutes. 1. Did you just let something in here? It feels like something's watching me. Doctor. No, 1. We did not let anything into the room. 1. What the fuck is that? 1 is seeing tripping and falling to the floor. Doctor, what do you see? 1. This giant blackness, like someone just standing in the corner. Oh god, it's looking right at me. Let me out. 1 proceeds to pound on the door leading into the antechamber. Doctor, it's looking at you? Please describe its physical appearance. 1. I don't know. Oh god, let me out. I don't want to be in here. 1 starts whimpering. Doctor, tell me what it looks like, 1. Then we can let you out. 1. It looks like a figure hunched in the corner. Doctor, is it a human? 1. It's too big to be a human. 1 yawns. It's still looking at me, Doc. Still staring. Doctor, move closer to it. 1 proceeds to move to the corner of the room, obviously experiencing difficulty staying on his feet. 1. Its eyes look like vapor, just staring at me. Like it wants me to do something. 1 falls to the floor again. Doctor, 1, can you hear me? Subject is unresponsive for the next 5 minutes. End log 1458. Subject presumably collapsed. Subsequently, no remains of 1 were found, and it is assumed 80 consumed 81. 80 consumed 1. What the fuck? So it is hostile. Or at least feeding people to it has nothing to do with dreams. It'll just eat them. Experiment 80-2B. Date double blank 20 double blank. Subject D80-2, female 30 years old. Procedure: subject was sent into room with 80 with intent to physically interact with 80. Details: subject entered room containing 80 at 1735 under instruction of Dr. Blank. Begin log 1735. Doctor, tell me what you see. 2. I don't see jack shit. Why is it so dark in here? After several minutes. Holy shit, what is that? It's just standing in the middle of the room. Doctor, describe what you see. 2. It's just standing in the middle of the room. I can make out 2 eyes, I guess. Doctor, could you please approach it and let us know if anything changes? 2. I feel drowsy. Did you slip me something or what? Doctor, reach out and touch it. Tell me what you feel. 2. You want me to touch that thing? Doctor, yes. Proceed. After a few minutes of argument, it is presumed that 2 proceeds to touch 80. At this time, the subject becomes unresponsive. End log 1812. Didn't take him that long. Subject was found asleep in the corner of 80's containment room. Subject appeared to suffer no physical harm during experiment. Subject was interviewed after medical staff. Deemed 80-2, deemed 2 to be in good physical health. See attached interview log 80-1. Experiment 80-3-C. Date double blank 20 double blank. Subject D-80-3, male 24 years old. Procedure: subject was sent into room with 80 having been given. Oh my god. Procedure: subject was sent into room with 80 having been given a powerful amphetamine. Upon entering the room, meth, Jesse, we need to cook. Upon entering the room, subject was advised to tell researchers what he saw. Subject describes a shadow-like figure in the center of the room. Subject was informed to stand still and inform researchers of any changes. 10 minutes into the experiment, subject began yawning and became noticeably frightened. Subject became uncooperative and attempted to escape the containment room. Upon failing to escape, subject announced an intent to harm 80 and presumably attempted to attack it. Upon doing so, subject immediately collapsed. 3's body was recovered from 80's containment room soon afterwards, having apparently suffered a major heart attack. Upon collecting 3's body, researchers described an intense feeling of unease, a feeling of being watched, as well as a more acute awareness of 80's presence in the room. So it could be either 80 is predatory towards males only, 80 is predatory towards anything that could potentially harm it. I would presume Class D personnel subject with amphetamines dosed to them would be able to ascertain maybe a weakness of 80 a little more accurately, just, you know, from being fucking methed out or whatever. So maybe it feared for its life. Maybe this thing was just hungry. There's a lot of options here. Interview log 80-1. Interviewed. D-80-2. Interviewer Dr. Blank. Forward. 2 was interviewed following an inconclusive experiment involving 80, where the subject was secured in the room with 80 for 37 minutes. Begin log. Doctor, please describe what you remember from the experiment. 2. Dr. Blank later notes that 2 had a spaced-out expression and a tone of voice. Doctor later notes that 2 had a spaced-out expression and tone of voice. You told me to walk over to it and touch it. I didn't want to, I didn't. Doctor, what happened when you touched it? 2. When I touched it? Have you seen that thing? Touch it. I couldn't move. It was staring at me and I just couldn't move. Real sleep paralysis demon acquired. Doctor, you didn't respond for several minutes. What were you doing? 2. Becoming increasingly agitated. It just stared at me. I couldn't move. I couldn't breathe. 2 starts to hyperventilate. Doctor, calm down, 2. Take a deep breath. Do you remember falling asleep? 2. It just stared and stared, not moving, but I felt something. I was on the floor and they were all over me. They're here. 2 begins to scream and abruptly gets to their feet. No, they're trying to take me away, back to that thing. I won't go back. You can't make me go back in there. 2 lunges at Dr. Blank, is subsequently terminated. End log. Well, that's fucked. The only person who survived this thing was killed because they freaked out and attacked the doctor. Alright, well that's all of our sequential SCPs for tonight. We did hit the 2-hour mark, but you know what? Again, because you guys have been so nice and we have so many new people tonight, and you know, shout out to Funky Fan, and also because these are 2 very good ones, I think we'll go a little bit longer. So here's 294. And the image here appears to just be a typical vending machine. On the vending machine is what appears to be various types of coffee, both black coffee on an ornate pedestal, I guess a whipped cream mocha, or just, again, like a frappuccino, not frappuccino, like a latte with whipped cream on it or something. And then in the background, what looks like a pumpkin spice latte. Again, all of the beverages appear to be on ornate pedestals for some reason. That's probably just advertisement for you. And again, it appears to be a vending machine just in a standard break room area or something. I mean, just looking at the back walls, it's very generic, maybe plaster walls. You can see a nib in the wall, a fold, where presumably a crease happens, or maybe that's even where the electrical wiring is. Adjacent to the main object here, we can see another vending machine, presumably. Yeah, coin dispense, like a weird bracket, probably just part of the weird design of the adjacent vending machine. Metal lining, a little bit of metal on the top as well. What does this say? I think, for the advertisement of the adjacent machine, it says quick snack or something. Just some indiscernible objects, maybe like M&M's or something. Can't quite tell what that is. It also, on the readout display, says A nice. There's a, you know, typical of a vending machine, a money insert. Can't really discern what the currency is used, but it does look like George Washington on the currency, so it says A nice. So presumably an American English vending machine. Below the money entry slot for paper cash. Looks like the manufacturer. Then we have a turn dial for who knows what the fuck that is. A coin slot and then a lock on the adjacent vending machine. On the main subject, which again, we can see another presumably vending machine on the right-hand side of the main subject. Just, again, typical legs, just like the left side, maybe like a more reinforced bottom. A sticker, presumably with like energy ratings or instructions, and yet another sticker, both on the left-hand side of this right vending machine, and just like a weird bump. Who knows, it could be a fridge. Again, the main subject appears to be a vending machine, with its advertisement of coffee and just a blank gradient background, what appears to be a backlight, I guess, or maybe a fore light somewhere above the advertisement. A full QWERTY keyboard without the, you know, numlock. I didn't know that was gonna move this. I forgot I always have numlock. Yeah, it doesn't have a numerical keypad on it or anything. It doesn't have F keys, but it has 1 through 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. It has a hyphen and underscore key, backspace, QWERTY UEOP, Del, it appears to be, as the I think this is a quote and a comma, so it doesn't even have semicolon or anything. An enter or return key, and then 2 keys I can't quite discern, maybe left and right directional keys, as well as a spacebar. So yeah, a very simplistic but functional keyboard. You know, you could probably program on this thing. No tab though, SMH. No tab completion, I need tabs. I'm not gonna press space 4 times. But yeah, it just seems like a typical maybe like 1970s, 1980s, maybe even 90s vending machine. Not sure why a keyboard's there. You know, I'm gonna, like, new life rule, remember my knowledge of this, or remove my knowledge of this. And then yeah, just a typical dispenser at the bottom, very reminiscent of like a coffee machine. It probably dispenses a paper cup or a styrofoam cup, and then from there dispenses the cappuccino or whatever. It appears there's a little basin for grappling onto, again, the styrofoam cup or whatever, and just a very silly, like, 80s style, shiny, I don't know. What is this? What is this? There's a lip for where the cup is dispensed as well, or where the liquid is dispensed. Again, a little lip or a nib for that cavity. Yeah, the background of this, oh yeah, there's a little holding area too, not just carved in where the metal is, but also at the bottom of the dispenser. I don't know what the fuck this is. I feel like I've seen this a lot, and it's just like weird vertical lines of metal. Why? Also, there is a coin return slot, just like the other one. In fact, exactly identical to the adjacent machine. And then, if we look on the right-hand side there is, again, a dial and a coin slot. Very reminiscent of this. This is probably just some good photoshopping. A weird... incremental volume button menu, maybe? It looks like a touch interface. It could just be LED lights or something, too. And then what appears to be, again, a readout that might be like an item selection printout menu. Although it does appear to have a block for typing, so... who knows? Maybe this is the volume of selection? I don't know. That's kind of weird, but anyway. 294. The caption for the image says, SCP-294 at time of recovery. Alright, item number 294, Object Class Euclid Special Containment Procedures. There are no standard special containment procedures on file for item 294. However, only personnel of security clearance level 2 or higher are allowed to interact with it. See document 294A. 294 is currently being stored in the second floor personnel break room and is monitored by 2 guards of security clearance level 3 at all times. Description: Item 294 appears to be a standard coffee vending machine, the only noticeable difference being an entry touchpad with buttons corresponding to an English QWERTY keyboard. Upon depositing 50 cents US currency into the coin slot, the user is prompted to enter the name of any liquid using the touchpad. Upon doing so, a standard 12-ounce paper drinking cup is placed and the liquid indicated is poured. 97 initial test runs were performed, including requests for water, coffee, beer, and soda, non-consumable liquids such as sulfuric acid, wiper fluid, and motor oil, as well as substances that do not usually exist in liquid state, such as nitrogen, iron, and glass. And each one returned a success. Test runs with solid materials such as diamond have failed. However, as it appears that 294 can only deliver substances that can exist in a liquid state. So yeah, if you've played SCP Secret Laboratory, I think. If you played Containment Breach, if you played a lot of offshoot games, usually you'll find one of these in a break room. And a lot of them function too, so you can get like Cup of God, Cup of Death, Cup of Coffee, Cup of Cum, Cup of Fire, you name it. There's a lot of good stuff. Well, maybe not fire, but like Cup of I shouldn't even say that. I was gonna say this one war only, banned by governments for war, liquid fire thing, but anyway. Testing is ongoing. As suggested, 294 was moved to the second floor personnel break room as a money-saving venture. Following incident 29401, guards were stationed at the item and a security clearance became necessary to interact with it. Oh, I skipped that. It is of note that after approximately 50 uses, the machine would not respond to further requests. After a period of approximately 90 minutes, the machine seemed to have restocked itself. It is also interesting to note that many caustic liquids that would have eaten through a normal paper cup seem to have no effect on the cups dispensed by the machine. So again, for context, we had that previous SCP we read, the like shell claw thing that emitted acids. Presumably they used a cup from this. Again, testing ongoing as suggested. 294 was moved to second floor personnel break room, money saving, 29401 incident, guards, etc. Document 294A regarding incident 29401. On August 21st, 2005, Agent Joseph Blank attempted to use 294 to obtain coffee during his allotted break time at 9:30 a.m. At the request of Agent Blank Blank, quote, to see what it would do, unquote, Blank requested a cup of joe from the item. Uh-oh. Yeah, I think this is a valid one, too. I think you can do this in some games. Moments after confirming the selection, Agent Joseph Blank began to sweat profusely and complained of dizziness before collapsing. After moving the unconscious agent to the infirmary, the medical team recovered the contents of the cup dispensed by item 294, a combination of blood, tissue, and other bodily fluids. Testing revealed the DNA sequence of the biological material dispensed by 294 matched that of Agent Blank. Agent Blank made a complete recovery after 4 weeks of rest and intravenous hydration. X-rays and CAT scans showed no further signs of injury, and Blank was released. Both agents were reprimanded. Additional security measures for 294 have been recommended. Addendum 294F. After reviewing documentation on 294, Blank suggested testing 294's ability to retrieve specific liquids from a distance. Addendum 294H. With the overseeing of O5 data expunged, a cup of O75 secretion was used as input. The product was proven to be the requested liquid, and the cup was able to successfully contain the material. However, the report for incident 07507 was acknowledged 2 hours after the test. See item. Holy shit, my brain, dude. However, the report for incident 07507 was acknowledged 2 hours after the test. See addendum 075M. A containment procedure breach had occurred exactly the same time this test was taking place, waking 75 to achieve to its active stage. It was able to secrete an amount of basic solution equal to the capacity of a coffee cup before emergency containment procedure was applied and it was rendered passive. So this thing will do whatever it takes to obtain the liquid. The liquid was not found in the post-incident investigation, so it is a little bit of alchemy. That which is requested is that which is given. Addendum 294I. Researcher punched in request for cup of gold. The machine dispensed a cup of molten gold. Researcher requested similar precious metals with the same result. Can we get liquid beryllium bronze? Seeing as how we had that reference earlier. Addendum 294J. A researcher punched in from a safe range request for cup of anti-water. The machine hummed briefly, then displayed out of range on entry pad. It is theorized that 294 has a limited range of collection and cannot reach into alternate universes / dimensions. So it could obtain anti-water, but we were not close enough. Addendum 294K. A researcher punched in request for diamond. 294 briefly hummed, then displayed out of range on entry pad. So again, range could either mean distance or range in terms of programming. It just is unable to proffer the request. 294 gives this result for all solid substances. As diamond is a solid crystalline form of carbon, it appears the machine will not dispense liquid carbon, as this does not result in a diamond. When cup of carbon was subsequently punched in, the machine dispensed a cup of liquid carbon. 294 was immune to the damaging effects of the dispensed liquid. What would liquid carbon do? I guess its atomic structure is probably too dangerous. Addendum 294M. Testing for a range of 294's capacity for retrieval has been initiated. A unique compound has been formulated composed of undisclosed ratios of blank brand bleach, blank, double blank, quadruple blank, single blank brand cola. What could that be? I'm trying to figure out what that could be. Hey, Crimson Paladin, thanks for dropping by the stream, dude, and thanks for the raid. We're just finishing up some SCP Foundation Wiki tonight. So yeah, we're reading just additional articles right now, and we read numbers 71 through 80 tonight. Hey man, thanks for the raid. Not only did we have Cheesy Night raid tonight with a party of 2, but we have another friend, Crimson Paladin, raiding. Thanks, dude. Thanks, homie. 2 raids in one night. I think, is that the first time I've ever been raided on stream? And it's 2 in 1? Nice. Hey, welcome, homie. Glad to see you. So yeah, there's not going to be too much. I'm remiss that you're going to miss some of this, but yeah, there's still a little bit more to go for you tonight. Welcome, welcome. Welcome back. And welcome everybody new. Nice to meet you. So, blank, 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 blank brand cola. What could that be? That's such a specific amount of terms, but I can't think of what it would be. Speaking of that, I went to the store earlier to pick up my drink that I'm drinking while streaming this. All I could smell was Big Red. It was so weird. I don't think that store stocks Big Red. Maybe the chewing gum, but no, it smelled like both the gum and also the soda. It was weird. A unique compound has been formulated composed of undisclosed ratios of blank brand bleach, blank 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 brand cola, met RX powder, and garam masala. So they tried to create a very unique liquid fluid compound. The fluid was created and placed in a sealed container 25 meters away from 294. When requested, the fluid was dispensed. Nice. An equal amount of the mixture was no longer present in its original container. So yes, it does quantum teleport whatever it obtains. Or I guess quantum tunnel, whatever. Just wanted a reason to say quantum. Addendum 294-01. So, 294-0-01. Researcher blank blank under observation of level 4 personnel keyed in a request of the best drink I've ever had. 294 dispensed a fluid similar in appearance to cola. The researcher identified it as a mixed drink he recalls having at a bar during his bachelor party and was convinced it was the best drink. Nice. So with it is definitely information based. It doesn't care if, you know, the recipe's in your mind or just unobtainable. I'm pretty sure they enter in the recipe for Coca-Cola at some point too. Blank did not know what ingredients were in the drink besides rum and cola. Yeah, dude, that's my drink. That and vodka screwdrivers, vodka, either orange juice or mango or hell, even lemonade. Fucking love it. Further tests are scheduled to ascertain how 294 gathers information. Addendum 2940-01A. Under the same conditions, Agent Blank, the best drink I've ever had. 294 delivered a dark fluid topped with white foam which was later identified as Vienna Lager. The cup was printed with a color picture of 5 men and 2 women drinking beer on the beach. Blank was one of them. Interesting, so it even uses like scenic theming. In his briefing, Agent Blank confirmed that his favorite drink ever was a Vienna Lager he consumed at the beach with his friends. It has now been confirmed that 294 has the ability to directly gather information from someone's mind in order to comply with the given conditions. Don't drink this on the job, by the way, while you're at the Foundation. SMH, dude, we're gonna have to reprimand you, demote you to D class after this. Addendum 294Q1. Subject keyed the perfect drink. The machine dispensed a cup containing an odorless lavender liquid. After drinking the liquid, subject appeared to go into shock. Subject later committed suicide, leaving a note which read, "I'm sorry, but at this point, everything's just one big letdown." Requesting such a drink again is highly discouraged. None of the components of the drink have yet been identified. It's liquid perfection. Addendum 294T1. Subject keyed in something Cassie will like. The device was heard to hum for about 3 seconds before dispensing an empty cup. Printed on the side of the cup was an image of a traditional soda fountain glass filled with something brown and topped with whipped cream. Upon introduction to 85, it was identified by her as a chocolate banana milkshake and judged delicious. Well, I guess this is a forward reference article we'll be reading at some point. So here's 85 really quick, and we'll come back to this next time. I don't want to read it tonight. We got another article to read. Well, that sounds delicious. Chocolate banana milkshake? Addendum 294W. Researcher keyed in request for a cup of music. 294 produced a clear, sparkling fluid that tasted vaguely alcoholic. Following ingestion, subject reported feeling and not hearing a continuous rhythm and demonstrated the ability to move and even dance with a certain fluidity that he had not previously shown. Testing on other abstract concepts is continuing. Well, that's fucking bizarre. Is that how the master got the permanent beating of drums in his head? Yet another Doctor Who reference? A drink so good he decided nothing else was worth it. Yeah, exactly. I mean, a cup of perfection? I'm not surprised even outside or considering SCP Foundation context that he killed himself. After you taste perfection, would you want to go on? Maybe he had to get rid of the clothes called humanity. He tasted perfection and it caused him to ascend to a higher plane. He no longer needed human existence. Addendum 294AB. During a mass security breach, Agent Blank requested a cup of pertinent medical knowledge while taking shelter inside the second floor break room. Of the 4 agents in the room, Agent Blank was the only one who was not injured. 294 poured a cup of clear green liquid. Following the ingestion of this substance, Agent Blank began mending the other agents' wounds in a manner consistent with Foundation medical training. Nice. So it can confer concepts very easily, but stuff like liquid diamonds, you gotta find the universe that has it and bring it to it, or just synthesize it and quantum tunnel it. Agent Blank no longer has the medical training that the liquid provided, and other attempts to recreate the effect have failed. What? He took like a potion from the Dark Ages of this. I guess the machine did. The agent has speculated that this event was an emergency measure taken by the object to ensure self-preservation. Interesting. I guess maybe the liquid dispensing vending machine was in danger. 294 AC, Addendum 294 AC, Dr. Blank requested my life story from 294. This is gonna kill him. 294 made humming noises and shook violently for approximately 3 minutes before providing a highly viscous, opaque black liquid. Upon consumption, Dr. Blank reported that he remembered everything that had ever happened to him. Following this test, Dr. Blank entered his office and returned 48 hours later with a 538-page autobiography. I mean, yeah, you might as well make use of it while you still can. I'm surprised he didn't die from that. Addendum 294 AD, researcher produced request consisting solely of the phrase "surprise me." Device produced an opaque cup containing normal water, later determined to have been heated to approximately 200 degrees Celsius. I guess that's a surprise. Upon receiving vibration from transport, the contents of the cup turned into steam, violently spraying boiling water in a 2-meter radius. Yeah, so there are some physics effects with this. Addendum 294 AF. Researcher produced request for blood of Christ. 294 vibrated and produced a message, Hic est enim calix sanguinis me, then produced a paper drinking cup containing approximately 0.12 liters of red grape wine. Wow, so not only is it cheeky, but it has a sense of humor too, producing wine. Addendum 294 AG. Researcher produced requests for cup of Smilodon blood, cup of passenger pigeon blood, and cup of Thomas Jefferson blood, and received 3 out-of-range errors. Either good old Tommy J's body is too distant, or this thing can't temporarily locate things, or just the fact, well yeah, I guess it can't temporarily locate things, and or good old Tommy J is a skeleton now, so he has no blood to give. Yeah, that's confusing. Interesting programmatic inputs. Addendum 294 AH, a D-Class personnel with IQ of 99 and low curiosity scores was given written instructions about what to request. The D-Class personnel produced a request for blood of Canis lupus and received a cup of liquid subsequently identified as wolf blood. The D-Class personnel next produced requests for saliva of Equus ferus caballus and received a cup of liquid subsequently identified as horse saliva. The D-Class personnel next produced a request for urine of Phascolarctus cinereus and received a cup of liquid subsequently identified as koala urine. I mean, if you know your Latin, you'll know a couple of these. I saw Equus, I knew that. Ferus caballus, I don't know what the fuck that is. D-Class personnel next produced a request for cerebrospinal fluid of Phoberomus pattersoni and received a cup of liquid currently undergoing analysis. It is to be noted that Phoberomus pattersoni went extinct during the late Miocene epoch, approximately 8 million years ago. So it does have temporal compliance, Maybe good old Tommy J's blood is there's just not enough of it left. Either that or Thomas Jefferson's blood is like quantum locked from being stolen. Addendum 294 AI, Dr. King produced request for a cup of room temperature superconductor and received a cup of apple juice with seeds floating in it. Nice. It is very cheeky. I mean, yeah, I guess that is accurate. It could have given, you know, cup of potato juice with potato seeds or something else. Addendum 294 AJ, Dr. Menchu produced a request for a cup of D151839's leukemia and received a cup of fluid. The fluid was microscopically examined and found to contain leukemic blast cells, which were a genetic match to D151839. A second request for a cup of D151839's leukemia resulted in an out-of-range error. D151839 was subsequently found to be free of leukemia, however within 15 days the leukemia had recurred. Well, that's pretty cool. Other SCP-294 experiments are currently awaiting approval. Well, again, you'll see why I love this one. Appliance Euclid Exchange featured food teleportation. This one's just super neat and interesting, and in the games you can ask for like cup of nuclear radiation and it'll just instantly kill you. Perhaps it can do fluids of a species, just not from a specific member of that species. That's true. To be fair, we had cup of Jesus Christ blood, and instead it gave us metaphorical Jesus blood, or I'm sorry, blood of Christ, which presumably this is Latin from the Bible or something. And red grape wine, that's just metaphorical. It's very interesting. Yeah, specific subjects, maybe that's a proper noun, and it wouldn't work. Alright, here's 914. One of the least complex sections of SCP-914 in a non-active state is the caption for the image. Oh, let me just scroll through it really quick, too. There's 914. Alright, the gears. Yeah, this just appears to be a bunch of interlocking mechanical metal gears. There's a screw discernible in the image. It appears to be another screw, maybe some bolts. I don't know too much about gear-based machinery, aside from my interest in the Antikythera mechanism. I don't even know if that's how you pronounce it, but Antikythera mechanism, which is an ancient Greek construct? Yes, ancient Greek. Antikythera mechanism is an ancient Greek hand-powered orrery, described as the oldest example of an analog computer used to predict astronomical positions and eclipses decades in advance. It could also be used to track the 4-year cycle of athletic games, which was similar to an Olympiad, the cycle of ancient Olympic Games. Yeah, it's just a very ancient gear, I guess. Cool. And yeah, this object just appears to be a bunch of varied interlocking gears. So yet another gun. Ooh, another good one. We have Shin Megami Tensei music. I love this song. I think we'll do some more SMT music tonight. Okay, item number 914. Object Class Safe Special Containment Procedures. Only personnel who submit a formal request and receive approval from Site Command may operate 914. 914 is to be kept in Research Cell 109B with 2 guard personnel on duty at all times. So I guess we'll encounter 109 as well very soon. I believe 109 is the room where the gears are housed. Any researchers entering 109B are to be accompanied by at least 1 guard for the entirety of testing. A full list of tests to be carried out must be given to all guard personnel on duty. Any deviation from this list will result in termination of testing, forcible removal of personnel from 109B, and formal discipline at Site Command's discretion. Warning: at this time, no testing of biological matter is allowed. Refer to document 109B 117. Applying the rough setting to explosive materials is not advised. Description. Sorry, I want to cue up my next music here. Description: 914 is a large clockwork device weighing several tons, covering an area of 18 square meters, consisting of screwdrives, belts, pulleys, gears, springs, and other clockwork. It is incredibly complex, consisting of over 8 million moving parts, comprised mostly of tin and copper, and some wooden and cloth items observed. Observation and probing have showed no electronic assemblies or any form of power other than the mainspring under the selection panel. 2 large booths, 3 meters by 2.1 meters by 2.1 meters, parentheses 10 feet by 7 feet by 7 feet, are connected via copper tubes to the main body of 914, labeled intake and output. Between them is a copper panel with a large knob with a small arrow attached. The words rough, coarse, 1-to-1, fine, and very fine are positioned at points around the knob. Below the knob is a large key that winds the mainspring. When an object is placed in the intake booth, a door slides shut and a small bell sounds. If the knob is turned to any position and the key wound up, 914 will refine the object in the booth. No energy is lost in the process, and the object appears to be in stasis until the output booth door is opened. Intense observation and testing have not shown how 914 accomplishes this, and no test object has ever been observed inside 914 during the refining process. The process takes between 5 and 10 minutes, depending on the size of the object being refined. So again, this is sort of a reference to alchemy and also a little bit of, I guess, steampunk? Not even, like, mechanical punk or some shit? I don't know what to call it. Addendum 514, Dr. Blank test log. Input 1 kilogram of steel, setting rough. Output pile of steel chunks of various sizes, appearing to be cut by laser. Input 1 kilogram of steel, setting 1-to-1. Output 1 kilogram of steel screws. Input 1 kilogram of steel, setting fine. Output 1 kilogram of steel carpet tacks. Input 1 kilogram of steel, setting very fine. Output several gases that dissipated into the air quickly, and 1 gram of an unknown metal, resistant to heat of 50,000 degrees, impossible to bend or break with any force, and a near perfect, parentheses 1.6 times 10 to the negative 75th P, conductor of electricity. You might want to watch out for the very fine setting, holy shit. Input 1 wristwatch belonging to Dr. Blank, setting coarse. Output 1 completely disassembled wristwatch. Input 1 cell phone belonging to Blank, setting 1-to-1. Output 1 cell phone, although different make and model. Input 1 standard Colt Python revolver, setting very fine. Output data expunged. Aforementioned Blank completely disintegrated all matter in its line of fire. Object contained with high-density gamma waves. Input 1 white mouse, setting 1-to-1. Output 1 brown mouse. Input 1 chimp, setting fine. Output data expunged. Input 1 chimp, setting rough. Output badly mutilated corpse, showing signs of crushing and cutting with high heat. Document number 109B, 117, Dr. Blank and Dr. Blank test log. Input subject D186, male Caucasian, 42 years old, 108 kilograms, 185 centimeters tall, setting 1-to-1. Output male Hispanic, 42 years old, 100 kilograms, 188 centimeters tall. Subject was very confused and agitated. Subject attacked security personnel. Subject terminated. Input subject D187, male Caucasian, 28 years old, 63 kilograms, 173 centimeters tall. Setting very fine. Output data expunged. Subject escaped from test chamber, killing 8 guards as well as Dr. Blank and Dr. Blank. Lockdown initiated. Subject causes containment failure of 3 SCP areas in continued escape attempt. Special response team engages subject, resulting in severe wounding of subject, partial memory loss in special response team members, and corrosive damage to plumbing. Subject expired several hours later, dissolving into blue ash and blinding nearby research team. Biological testing with 914 discontinued. So it seems the chimp on setting fine had favorable results, enough to test D-class with very fine. Note, because of the nature of this SCP, a wide range of test data would be helpful. Dr. Gears has ordered that any researcher can have access for non-biological testing if they themselves are or they are supervised by a level 3 researcher. All testing is to be recorded in file number 914E, experiment log 914. Biological testing will continue only with prior clearance by O5 command. As long as you want to try something mundane that isn't alive, feel free to help accumulate data. Dr. Blank. Alright, do we want to see experiment log 914? Oh, it says hub in the URL. Let me guess, there's like 1,000 things here. Site 19, Facility 23 Dossier. I mean, it's interesting. I think I'm going to skip this because we've been going for a while tonight, and I am very tired. I'm also hungry, so, yeah! Clockwork, Featured, Sapient, Transfiguration. You can see why this one has a high rating and why I prefer it as well. And, yeah, that's it for tonight. I wanted to stream a little bit more, but, you know, plans change. I at least wanted to do this. I mean, it was the only thing I was thinking about streaming tonight, so yeah, tonight was definitely an SCP Foundation Wiki night. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this stream. Again, shout out to all the homies in Funky Fam. Shout out to Cheesy Knight for the raid, shout out for Crimson Paladin for the raid. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed checking out the stream tonight. Again, I would have liked to share more with you guys, but like I said, I'm tired. And yeah, we'll have more stream again soon. I'm glad to get this done at least, because, you know, it's the perfect time for it, late at night. It's spooky, scary, and it's fun every single time. I always have fun reading these, and the fact that it's sequential, every time I read another 10 and read some randoms and some favorites, I feel like I'm accomplishing something. It feels important, dude. Polka Pikachu, dude, that emote is so good. Wait, what? I guess I can't post it. Am I spelling it wrong? No, it says Twitch Global, but I cannot share it for some reason. Hold on, let me see if I can find it now. No, I just get Hot Pocket for some reason, whatever. Anyway, again, I hope you guys enjoyed. Please drop a follow on the Twitch channel, if you will. And, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and include some social media links in the chat. So, either click the About section on Twitch, or the About section on YouTube if you can't see or don't want to see the chat. And yeah, go subscribe to the main edited videos channel on YouTube. Go subscribe to the VOD Backup Archive channel. There's going to be new videos over there very soon, by the way. Go follow the Twitter, and go join our community Discord. And yeah, that's gonna do it for me tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed. And yeah, I will catch you in the next one. Peace.